product that does not need to be in the refrigerating section next to the milk in the refrigerating section. Sales tripled. Why?
Working with the
not milk.
Okay, working with the Native community on leadership and sustainability and inspiring Native Canadians to step into their own power to get healthy, get educated, and start business. Sometimes she still freaks out, but knowing the importance of her message gets her over her fears. That's the power of the message of you. I could relate to Chastity's journey because just like Chastity, my career.
You're staying late again?
Yeah, I have to finish 3 reports by Monday.
You're still working weekends and you think that's normal?
Staying late again? Yeah, I have to finish 3 reports by Monday. Sarah just left. She already finished.
All 3? That's impossible.
Wait, how did you finish everything so fast?
Mike, I know how to actually use AI. What takes you 5 hours, I do in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Impossible.
I use
Okay, career as a professional speaker also began as a fluke.
The right tool
I was
not
uh,
ChatGPT for everything.
What do you mean?
About 6
I was a high school teacher at I was terrible at it, yeah, and I was terrible at it. I was fired after my second year in the classroom. Apparently, being the class clown is no more acceptable for a teacher than it is for a student. But as they say, when one door closes, another opens. Getting fired freed me to pursue my real dream. I had been doing magic shows since I was 8 years old and had always wanted to be a professional magician. So, at 24 years old, I took my comedy magic act on the road.
Okay, I want to learn, but that sounds expensive, right?
So, at 24 years old, I took my comedy magic act on the road.
You need to jump on it before spots run out. I'm starting right now. I can't keep working late and losing my weekends. Perfect. Click the link to get access for the first 100 people before spots run out and thank me in 28 days.
Traveling was huge pain. My magic act had a lot of heavy props. I was lugging around a Black and Decker saw to cut men in half, plus a whole assortment of props to accomplish such feats as my death-defying escape from my grandmother's girdle. Hey, it's a living. I was successful touring the country, but it all came to a grinding halt when United Airlines lost my luggage, and I had to go on without my props. No props meant no magic tricks. I had to stand on stage, just me, and so I told jokes. Unbelievably, I was a hit. Thanks to United. From that night on, I became a comic with a carry on. I continued my career as a comic, headlining at comedy clubs all across the country and playing Vegas and Atlantic City, opening for some really cool people like Prince. I did hundreds of television appearances, and by any measure, my career in stand-up was a success. So why wasn't I happy? Well, it wasn't very glamorous. Getting heckled by drunks, staying in cheap motels. Okay, motels or hotels? and dealing with crooked club owners. Life on the road can be a lonely life. If I had known then what I know now about the speaking profession, I would have spared myself the trials and tribulations of being on road comedy. I can tell you the exact moment I decided to quit stand-up. I was in New York and Walter, my miniature schnauzer, had been mugged. That's right, my dog had been mugged, not me, and I had to run the poor thing to an emergency clinic right before I was supposed to go on stage on Long Island. I was in no mood to be funny, and I was late. I got to the club, and it became clear instantly that God had titled the world on its side, and all the scumbags had trickled into this particular corner of the universe. They were drunk, they were mean, and before I even stepped foot on the stage, they were heckling me. I hadn't even said a word yet. I pushed through part of my routine, and I had a joke that started with the line, "I worry about getting old," and some guy in the front row snorted sarcastically and yelled, "Getting old," insinuating that I was already well past my prime. I was in my early 30s, by the way. I don't know what happened, but something in me broke open at that moment. I stopped and stood perfectly still, and it hit me so clearly. Here I was standing in front of a bunch of drunks trying to make them laugh, just as I did as a kid in my own family. It was a eureka moment where haha turned into ah. I was totally done. I walked off stage, picked up my dog, and went home to figure out what I would do next. I formed a company called Comedy Workshops and started teaching stand-up comedy. I wrote 2 books, stand-up comedy, the book and the Comedy Bible, to help aspiring comics craft their material and take it on the road. Oprah Winfrey booked me for her show, and I became known at the Comedy Grove, the go-to girl for launching the careers of America's top comics. I got so much press that thousands of students lined up to study with me via my Los Angeles workshop, as well as via online classes, teleseminars, and international classes in Canada, Russia, Sweden, Australia, and Germany. Things were going well, and I was paying the bills, but I missed performing. About that time, a friend asked me to speak at her company's annual conference. the Produce and Fruit Association, the Prestige. But all of a sudden, for one gig, I was getting paid 10 times as much as I would made doing 9 gigs a week in a comedy club. Here is the weird part. I didn't have to do my act. They paid me to talk about comedy as a topic. I didn't even know what that meant. So I just made something up. I created kind of a mashup from my experiences of teaching comedy and added a few bits from my act. It was very uneven and awkward, but the audience seemed to enjoy it, even though I had to share the stage with a dancing avocado nobody.
नीचे दी गई लिंक पे क्लिक करो और मैं राशिद आप लोगों को वेलकम करता हूँ अपने इस वर्कशॉप में।
The audience seemed to enjoy it, even though I had to share the stage with dancing avocado. Nobody threw anything at my head, and at the end of the talk, they handed me a big check. After it was over, all I could think was speaking for a living rocks. How do I do this full time? I started researching the speaking business and found there were a lot more speaking gigs available than comedy gigs. Every day in every city there are hundreds of meetings and they all need speakers. There were also a lot of perks. Speakers are paid more than comics. They have a full hour to perform in front of sober and appreciative audiences. And best of all, as a speaker, I didn't have to be the hot new up and coming young talent forever. In fact, in the speaking profession, experience, age, and wisdom are actually considered asset and not liabilities.
It's not always about what
Experience, age, and wisdom.
what the factor is like. It's about can you get your idea to spread.
I joined the National Speakers Association where I met speakers who were making six figures every year. Many of these successful speakers had never been on TV, had never been asked for an autograph, and weren't entertainers. But not only did they have vibrant careers, they were really making a difference in people's lives. I wanted what they had. I became obsessed with finding out the secret to their success. It didn't take long to figure it out, even though I had been on hundreds of TV shows and had been nominated for Atlantic City Entertainer of the Year. These speakers had something I didn't. A message.
Industrial complex works is you buy some ads, interrupt some people, that gets you distribution.
Ask any professional speaker,
To sell more product.
what do you speak about? And they can summarize in a concise two-sentence phrase their brand, their message of you, the message of their lives. Even the survivor speakers, the ones who rely heavily on incredible life and death stories, still have a message to impart to their audiences. The same was true for the more technical speakers
Because someone
who
figured out how to touch people in a way
who
that
gave informational type talks on type talks on taxes, finance and computer programming. Even they included a motivational message along with their facts and figures. No matter the speaker or the topic, everyone had one thing in common. They all included a message that was designed to inspire an audience to make tomorrow a better day than today. As a stand-up comic, message didn't matter. My act was a series of disconnected jokes about everything, dating, about everything, dating, pets, relationships, and politics. Whatever was on my mind, I had tons of material but no message, and I had no idea how to find one.
It's 180 pages about water.
I read every book on public speaking and the speaking industry I could find. I learned a great deal about marketing, about
new products from Coke Japan, water salad. Coke Japan comes out with a new product every 3.
I learned a great deal about marketing and how to keep my hands from flailing about, but there was no book on how to find a message or even how to write a speech or even how to write a speech.
To go to Arby's and buy a roast beef sandwich. Now I want you to try to imagine what could possibly be in an animated TV commercial featuring Tom Arnold that would get you to get in your car, drive across town, and buy a roast beef sandwich. You know, this is Copernicus, and he was right when he's talking to anyone who needs to hear your idea. The world revolves around me. Me, my favorite person. I don't want to get email from anybody. I want to get me-mail.
Okay, but there.
So consumers,
But there was no book on how to find a message or even how to write a speech. I learned about BOR, back of room sales, how to have a dazzling website, and how to negotiate a contract even if and a contract even if I was a dummy. Where was the book that could help me find my message? I didn't exist. It didn't exist. I realized I was going to have to figure this out myself, stumbling through self-doubt and fear. I took classes, I watched other speakers, and I began to recognize a pattern. The professional speakers and were most successful were able to convey their message because they were considered experts in their field, from accountants to cancer survivors, salesmen to system analysts, athletes to astronauts. They had examined their own success and failures to develop their own step-by-step methodology that could help others be just as successful. I asked myself, how am I an expert? And I looked at my career as a magician, comic, and teacher. I examined my life story a story of growing up with a severely disabled sister in a family where daddy getting angry was as scary as an LA earthquake. It took a lot of work, but I finally found the message of me. Underneath my stories was a larger message about the transformational power of humor. My message of me was right under my nose the whole time, but I was too close to see it. I had I had the ruby supplier slippers all along. My message of me combined all the elements of my life. When I was a teacher, I used humor to help my students learn. With my disabled sister Marsha, making her laugh created many moments of happiness in her. Otherwise,
about where you sat at work. This guy, Lionel
in
Poupon,
her
the most famous baker in the world. He died 2.5 months
otherwise tragic life.
ago. Mine and a dear friend. He was in Paris. Last year he sold
At the dinner table, laughter could ease tense
every
the
loaf
situation and diffuse conflict. Playing a comedy gig in Vegas, I could wake up a dead audience teaching stand-up comedy. I helped so many of my students overcome the tragedies in their lives by turning their problems into punchlines. I knew how to teach the principles of comedy to stand-up students, but now realized comedy wasn't just for showbiz types. I saw humor as a life and business business tool that could be used to decrease stress, resolve conflict, and improve health. In the workplace, I had my message of me. Woohoo!
these people because they care. These are the people who are obsessed with something.
I honed my speech by speaking
They like
for
listening. It's about them.
free at charity events,
On the rest of the curve. And it'll
chambers of commerce, hospitals, churches, basically any organization within 30 miles of my house got a call. At first I sucked. Note to self, don't say suck at a corporate gig, and it took me years to figure out how to frame my message to truly motivate and transform others.
Instead, you have to find a group that really desperately cares about what it is you have to say. Talk to them and make it easy for them to tell your friends. There's a hot sauce otaku, but there's no mustard otaku. That's why there's lots and lots and lots of kinds of hot sauces and not so many kinds of
I had to find stories that were not only funny and entertaining but also revealing and supported my message. After much trial and error,
figured this whole thing out.
note to self,
Krispy Kreme has a
do
strategy.
not mention
They enter a city, they
nipples,
talk to
and
people who are otaku,
at
and then they
a
spread
business
the city to
meeting,
the people who just
I
cross the
became
street.
an
This yoga
in-demand
biker costs
speaker
$112.
presenting for Fortune 500 companies, traveling the world, sharing the stage with President Clinton and other high-profile speakers, flying on private jets and speaking in front of some of the most powerful movers and shakers in the world. Along the way, I learned how to market myself, get agents interested, find gigs, create BOR sales, back of room.
Just maybe those people tell their friends. So when Steve Jobs talks to 50,000 people at his keynote, who are all tuned in from 130 countries watching his 2-hour commercial, that's the only thing keeping his company in business. Is that those 50,000 people care desperately enough to watch a 2-hour commercial and then tell their friends. Pearl Jam, 96 albums released in the last 2 years. Everyone made a profit. How?
BOR
They sell
sales
them on their website. Those people
and brand
buy on the
myself
website,
as an
and
expert.
then they tell their friends.
When Chastity called me for help, it made me realize that someone needed to write the book you are reading.
Hard candy nail polish doesn't appeal to everybody, but to the people who love it, they talk about it like crazy. This paint can right here saves the Dutch
You are
Paint
reading.
Company, making them
As I crisscross
25% more
the world
because Dutch
for my
Paint
speaking
can
engagements,
that people talk about.
for my
It's
speaking
remarkable.
engagements, more and more people told me their stories of dreams fulfilled, passions unearthed, and funny, dramatic, and even tragic parts of their lives.
They didn't get this way by advertising a lot. They got this way.
It was clear that all of them wanted to be heard, and that many of their stories were absolutely fascinating. Okay, a few of them, but I tuned my ears to hear something underneath their stories, their messages that not only entertained but had the potential to make dramatic differences in other people's lives by helping people stand up in front of others and transform their messages into well-crafted speeches. I felt that I too might contribute in some small way to the betterment.
What you have to do is figure out what people really want and give it to them. A couple quick rules to wrap up. The first one is design is free when you get to scale.
Okay.
And the people who come up with stuff that's remarkable, more often than not, figure out how to put design to work for them. Number two, the riskiest thing you can do now is be safe. Procter & Gamble knows this. The whole
Okay.
model of being Procter & Gamble is always about
So
average products for average
43.
people. That's risky. The safe thing to
43.
do now is to be at the fringe,
2020.
be remarkable.
It means
And being
20,
very
12,
good
20.
is one of the worst things you can possibly
to the betterment of our world by helping chastity. Write a genuinely moving speech to inspire hundreds of Canadian volunteers. I might actually be helping the environmental movement become more than just recycling. It was an amazing thought, and it's the reason I wrote this book. I'm here to tell you that your life has meaning, your stories can inspire, and your message can heal. Your TED Technology, Entertainment and Design talk. See chapter 2 for more information is already inside of you. Sound naive, too idealistic. In my 25 years on the speaking circuit and coaching other speakers, I have seen it happen over and over again. A person who feels they are nobody steps up, tells their story, and discovers that they truly are somebody in this world. I see the surprise on their face when people in the audience line up to hug them and tell them that their stories made a difference in their lives. Unfortunately, most people don't know where to begin. Amateur speakers usually will tell their story in chronological order as a list of this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. That is more of an exercise in narcissism than an effective speech. Okay, this is happening.
He wants to build a 55-foot tall lava lamp in the center of town. That's a purple cow. That's something worth noticing. I don't know about you, but if they build it, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much for your
Mind you, I didn't find my message of me when I was giving my first speech. After much trial and error, I branded myself as a stress reduction speaker who showed corporate America how to use comedy skills to relieve stress. In order to find my message of me, I had to examine my own journey, identify my life lessons, my professional credentials, as well as what bookable topics corporate America would be interested in hearing about. The combination of those elements created the message of me. I then used that information to create the core promise of each of my speeches, to develop my methodology, my action steps, and to choose my heart story. This book will walk you through that identical process, saving you the painful trial and error of flopping in front of a live audience. Wait, what process exactly? So now you are going to ask me, but Judy, how do I identify which of my stories is my heart story? What are action steps? How can I possibly boil down the experiences of my life into one message, one core promise? And what the heck is the core promise in you? And what does all this have to do with the speech I have to give to a room full of nurses or executives or socialists or socialites?
I want to give you 4 specific examples.
Socialites,
How a product called Silk tripled their sales.
Socialites.
One thing. How an artist named Jeff
Or new parents or drug addicts.
making a whole bunch of money and having
Next month, help.
to how Frank
Okay,
Gehry redefined
take a
marketing
breath.
as an architect. And one of my biggest failures as a marketer in the last few years, a record label I
Okay,
started that had a
take a breath
called Sauce.
and let's start at the beginning. Let me give you an overview of my process. I'm going to try not to throw too much at you at once. If you just go through the chapters one by one and do all the exercises, you will succeed in finding your message, creating your speech, getting booking, and making a difference. How to use this book? Part 1 of this book will help you to identify the message of you. This is the foundation of your speech, your marketing materials, and even all your tweets. You will find it by combining different components of your experience, your life lessons, your professional expertise with the bookable topics of the speaker marketplace with explanations and exercises. I will lead you by the hand and assist you to clarify your speaking goals. Mine
স্বামীর মূল্য বৃদ্ধি করে ৩,১০০ টাকা করা হবে। ভয় নয়, বর্ষা নিয়ে বাঁচতে চায়। ভয়াও বর্ষায় বিজেপিকে ভোট দিন।
goals. Mine, your professional experiences for expert credentials. Scan your professional life for the tragedies and triumphs that shaped your outlook on life. Identify your own methodology for success. Stop procrastinating and discover a bookable, marketable message of you. And hey, even if you have no interest in pursuing a career as a professional speaker, you can still benefit from incorporating your message of you into your work, presentations, or even social situations like a toast at a wedding.
It's the easiest sort of way to keep score. But I want you to forgive me when I use these examples because I'm talking about
Wedding or speaking during your child's career day. If this is the case, I would encourage you to focus on solely on part 1 and part 2 of this book. Part 2 of this book. You can skip the business primer in part 3. Part 2 of this book will walk you through my 6-step method to create your speech with a final chapter that will guide you through a Carter comedy pass that is sure to keep your audience laughing.
And tell them about what we want to do. If we do that, then everyone would pay attention, we would win. Well, this TV industrial complex informed my entire childhood and probably yours. And all of these products succeeded.
How to get
someone
promotion
figured
without
out
having
how
S
to
with
touch
box.
people in a way that they weren't expecting, in a way they didn't necessarily want, with an ad over and over and over again until they bought it. And the thing that's happened is they canceled the TV industrial complex. That just over the last few years, what anybody who markets anything has
How to
discovered
have is
is it's not
with
working
wife
the
every
way
day
it used
at
to.
home,
This picture is really fuzzy.
without any
Had a bad
shame,
cold one.
without any
But,
shame,
the product in the
and
blue
without
box in
even
the
knowing
center
your parents.
is my poster child. Right? I go to the deli, I'm sick, I
So,
need to buy some medicine. The brand
how
manager
to
for that blue product
protect
spent
your
$100
relationship?
million trying to interrupt me in 1 year. $100 million interrupting me with TV commercials and magazine ads and spam and coupons and shelving allowances and spit.
How to
Also, I could
keep your
ignore
wife engaged
every single
with you.
message.
Okay, you will learn how to write a great opening that will make the audience love you within 60 seconds. Keep an audience engaged by talking about their problems, brag about yourself without isolating your audience.
Pages about water.
Inspire your audience to take concrete action steps. Share your heart story to create meaning and bring the audience to their feet with an interactive call to action.
Coke Japan comes out with a new product every 3 weeks.
Part 3 will show you performing and memorizing techniques so you can avoid flop sweat and other disasters, as well as showing you
Arby's is going to spend $85 million
as well as showing you how
Tom Arnold,
as well as showing you how to gather together
and buy a roast beef sandwich.
the materials you need to successfully market your talk, write and negotiate contracts and turn.
That would get you to get in your car, drive across town, and buy a roast
Thank you,
beef
Mummy.
sandwich. Now this is Copernicus.
God bless you. Have a healthy,
And he was
happy
right
life
when he
forever,
spoke, anyone
Mama.
who needs to hear your idea. The world revolves around me.
Yes, God will make everything
Me,
all
my
right.
favorite
God
person,
will
me.
keep it
I don't want to get email from anybody. I
on
want to get me.
universe, gods and gods.
So consumers.
And turn free gigs into paying gigs. If your goal is to become a paid professional speaker, then make sure you don't skip any of the exercises in part 3 that will need to master this process. A support system. A support system.
Less time. And in a world where we have too many choices and too little time, the obvious thing to do is just ignore stuff. And my parable here.
It's important to work with a buddy
And you see a cow.
who will act as your audience, supplying feedback,
Cows are invisible.
writing material and giving you support when you want to quit.
A cow.
Don't underestimate how powerful fear is.
Isn't that a great?
If you are like most people, you will hit points where you are stuck, confused,
You notice it.
and just stop the process. Having regularly scheduled meetings
That's going to decide what gets
with a
talked
buddy
about, what gets
will help
covered, what
both
gets
of
changed,
you
what gets moved,
navigate your way to a speaking career. Many speakers form mastermind groups that meet at least once a month to help them develop, hone, and market their speaking skills. Or ask a friend, someone you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts with, to act as your sounding board. And the best speaker buddies are people who make you feel smart and funny when you are around them.
Every week, the #1 best-selling DVD in America changes. It's never The Godfather, it's never Citizen Kane, it's always some third-rate movie with some second-rate star. But the reason it's #1
Don't make
is the
excuses.
fact that we came out.
Hook up
Because it's
with
new,
a
it's
speaker
fresh,
buddy.
People saw it and said, I didn't know that was there, and they noticed it. 2 of the big success stories in the last 20 years in retail. One sells things that are super expensive in a blue box, and one sells things that are as cheap as they can make them. The only thing they have in common is that they're different. We're now in the fashion business. No matter what we do for a living, we're in the fashion business. And the thing is, people in the fashion business know what it's like to be in the fashion business. They're used to it.
Don't make excuses. Hook up with a speaker buddy right
How to
now.
understand that it's not about interrupting people.
Being in the same location is no longer necessary as working via Skype.
But it's a
as
totally
working
different sort of process.
Via Skype
that
works
determines which
just
ones
as well.
spread And which ones don't. This chair, they sold $1 billion worth of Aeron chairs.
just as well.
reinventing what it meant
Matter
to
of
sit in
fact,
a chair.
me
The
being
executive
a
chair
Jewish
became the personal
yenta,
garment boss
let
for
me
someone
fix
who
you
was a
up
status symbol
with
about where
someone.
you sat at work.
Visit my speakersbuddy.com
This guy,
to hook up with someone who can be there for you.
2.5 months
A
ago,
recording device.
hero of mine in the
Ideas don't necessarily
last year he sold
happen
10 million
when you want them to.
bottles of French press.
They happen in life at a party, during a business meeting, in bed.
When Lionel started
Come on,
his bakery,
you can have this anytime.
poo-pooed it. They
But
didn't want French bread.
ideas
It didn't look like
need to
French
be
bread.
recorded
What
whenever
they
they
expected
happen.
was
Right.
neat. It was remarkable, and slowly it spread from one person to another person until finally it became the official bread of three-star restaurants in Paris. Now he's in London and he ships by FedEx all around the world. What marketers used to do is
But
make
ideas need to be
average products
need
for average
to be
people.
recorded
That's what mass
whenever they
marketing
happen.
is.
Otherwise,
Smooth
they
out the edges.
will vanish.
Go for the center. That's the
I
big
use my
market.
iPhone
They
to
would ignore the
to
geeks
forever
and
preserve
God
my
forbid,
ramblings.
It was all
But
about
you can
going for the
use a
center.
digital voice
But in a
recorder,
world where the TV
and
industrial complex
an
is
old
broken,
tape
I
recorder,
don't think that's
a
the strategy we
notepad,
wanna use
or
anymore.
a cocktail
I think
napkin.
the strategy we wanna use
If you are like me and can't stand listening to your voice, go to messageofyou.com/services, where you will find a list of inexpensive services that will transcribe your audio notes and email them to
We
you.
have something I call otaku. It's
A notebook.
Japanese word. It describes the desire of someone who's obsessed to say dry or cold.
In order to find the message of you, we are going to do a lot of writing.
Get obsessed with it.
The journey to find the message of you is not a direct route.
Any problem you want to
It would
solve
be
that doesn't
it would be
have
great
consistency with
if I just asked
is
you
almost impossible.
a few questions
Instead,
and
you have to
jackpot.
find a group that really
The
just
three
cares
cherries
about what it is you have to
lineup and
talk to them
outcomes
and make it easy
you
for them.
winning message of you.
There's a hot sauce otaku,
It takes
but there's no
a lot
mustard
of
otaku.
writing to find the kernels of truth that will develop into your speech. In writing this book, there are hundreds of trees that had to be cut down to supply all the pages that nobody will ever see. Every writer knows that writing is a hit and miss process, but it would be a good idea to have a place to store all your ideas as they come to you, either a physical one or a folder on your computer.
As loud as the 747
A commitment.
can't get in, the car's got
I'm sure that there are many things in your life that you have tried,
Someone wants to put a couple speakers in
and when
their
it
car,
got hard,
they've got their otaku or they've heard from someone who does, they go ahead and they pictures. It's really simple. You sell the people who are listening.
and when it got
Just
hard,
because people tell you.
and when it got hard, you stop. I would like to help you commit to this process, to finding and putting together your speech, and not be like me on my diet program, which I always start with enthusiastic intent that ends 3 days later with a plate of pasta primavera.
This hospital could cost $10,000, 10 times the standard.
I have no doubt there will be times in this process
Candy nail polish.
where you will want to quit.
To the people who
Yeah, I'll be asking you to remember a story, and perhaps you won't be able to think of a thing.
making them a fortune.
Here is the thing.
More than regular paint. Because Dutch Boy made a can.
Creativity doesn't always happen on our time schedule. If you commit to this journey, you might find your message of you sneaks up on you. You may be frustrated with an exercise in this book, but then 2 days later, the dry cleaner says something that shakes loose a memory, and suddenly your whole speech comes together. It's about staying open to the process. Commit yourself to staying open. If you quit, you will never find that aha moment. There is a reason you picked this book in the first place.
They're made from
Honor.
names.
Honor that intention.
Yourself made into a gem. Oh, you like my ring? It's my grandmother. Fastest growing business in the whole mortuary industry. But you don't have to be Ozzy Osbourne. You don't have to be super
Commit
crazy
pledge.
to do this. What you have
Sorry,
to do
commitment
is figure out
pledge.
what people really want.
I commit to the following. 1. I will read this. I will read the whole book by 29 Feb 2026 date. 2. I'll complete all the exercises in this book even if I don't do them well by 1 March by 1 March 2026 date. 3. When I get scared of or find myself procrastinating, I will call Mr. Jimmy Donaldson, name of Buddy. 4. I will not stop until I will not stop until I have done G5W5 and 3 PLMS.
So, my 3 stories. Silk, put a product that does not need to be in the refrigerated section next to the milk in the refrigerated section. Sales tripled.
Name your ultimate goal.
Milk, not milk.
Email to commitment at the message of you messageofyou.com.
Their sales with advertising, they tripled it by doing something remarkable. That is a remarkable piece of art. You don't have to like it, but a 40-foot tall dog made out of bushes in the middle of New York City is remarkable.
Top 5 books
Frank
on
Gehry didn't just change a museum, he changed an entire city's economy by designing one building that people from all over the world went to see. Now, at countless meetings, at the Portland City Council or who knows where, they say, we need an architect. Can we get Frank Gehry? Because he did something that was at the fringes. And my big failure, I came out with a record album,
Okay.
and hopefully a whole bunch of record albums in SACD format, this remarkable new format, and I marketed it straight to people.
email to commitment at the messageofyou.com.
$20,000 stereos don't like new.
In my stand-up and speaking classes, it's not always the talented ones who end up with major careers. It's the ones who never give up. I just hate it when people quit. I think that if they stayed in the process 1 more week, 1 more day, 1 more hour, they could have succeeded.
But they do have a lake. And people used to come from miles around to swim in the lake. They don't anymore. So the founding fathers of Salt Lake said, we got some money to spend. What can we build here? And like most communities, they were going to build something pretty safe. And then an artist came to them. This is a true
Okay,
artist.
sharing your
He
commitment
wants to build a 55
with someone will help you
lamp
stay
in the center.
accountable.
That's a purple
So
cow.
commit to me.
That's something worth
The message of me is me helping you find the message of you.
Thank you very much.
Shoot me an email at commitment@themessageofyou.com and let me know that you are committing to this process. Let me know what kind of speaker you are or what kind of speaker you would like to become. If you are not sure how to answer those questions, keep reading for some guidance. Set some dates for yourself. Pick a date when you will finish part 1 of this book. Then set another date to finish part 2. Do not spend longer than 1 month or each part or you will lose your momentum. Shoot me an email when you discover your core promise. Shoot me another when you Give your first speech. I will follow your journey and send you encouragement throughout our process. Hey, some call it codependency. I choose to call it helpful. Remember, Chastity had 1 week to write her speech. Just imagine what you can do with a lot more time to do the work. With a lot more time to do the work. Are you going to have to get personal? Yes. Are you going to have to dig a bit to get to the juicy stuff? You better believe it. You better believe it. But don't worry. The message of you is more than a book. It's a community and a movement. Come, take this journey with me. Speak your message and change lives, including your own.
This guy, Otto Rohrwetter, invented sliced bread, and he focused, like most inventors did, on the patent part and the making part. And the thing about the invention of sliced bread is this, that for the first 15 years after sliced bread was available, no one bought it, no one knew about it.
And including your own.
Failure. And the reason is that until Wonder came along and figured out how to spread the idea of sliced bread, no one wanted it. That the success of sliced bread, like the success of almost everything we've been talking about at this conference, is not always about what the patent is like or what the factor is like. It's about can you get your idea to spread or not. And I think that the way you're going to get what you want or cause the change that you want to change to happen
Improve.
is you're going to figure out a way to get your ideas to spread. And it doesn't matter to me whether you're running a coffee shop or you're an intellectual or you're in business or flying hot air balloons. I think that all this stuff applies to everybody regardless of what we do. That what we are living in is a century of idea diffusion. That people who can spread ideas, regardless of what those ideas are, win.
And
when I talk about, I usually pick business because they make the best.
Fighting intelligently with those obstacles comes in relationship. And
I want you to forgive me when I use these examples because I'm talking about anything that you decide to spend your time to do.
Fighting and solving.
Of spreading ideas is TV and stuff like TV. TV
All
and
obstacles.
mass media made it really easy to spread ideas in a certain way. I call it the TV industrial complex. The way the TV industrial complex works
relationship.
is ads, interrupt some people, that gets you distribution.
In relationship.
To sell more products. You take the profit from that to buy more ads. And it goes around and around and around the same way the military industrial complex worked a long time ago. And that model of, and we heard it yesterday, if we could only get on the homepage of Google, if we could only figure out how to get promoted there, if we could only figure out how to grab that person by the throat and tell them about what we want to do, if we could do that, then everyone would pay attention, we would win. Well, this TV industrial complex.
Chapter 1 checklist. Got a buddy.
Probably yours. And all of these products
myspeakerbuddy.com.
because someone figured out how to touch people.
Gathered my supplies, notebook or laptop and recorder.
Over and over and over again.
Emailed Judy my commitment pledge. Commitment@themessageofyou.com. Set a date to finish part 1. Set a date to finish part 2.
It's not working the way that it used to. This picture is really fuzzy. I apologize. I had a bad cold when I took it. But the product in the blue box in the center is my focus.
Chapter 2. Commit to the basics. Congrats.
The brand manager for that blue product.
You have just committed to being a part of a great industry called the professional speaking business. Welcome. If you are just starting out, you might not know anything about the business of speaking. After all, becoming a professional speaker wasn't exactly the choice on career day at my high school.
It's 180 pages about water.
As a matter of fact,
Articles about
when I
water,
tell
ads
people
about water,
I speak for a living,
what the world
they
was
look at me
20 years ago,
in
to Saturday
astonishment
Night Live
and
News.
ask,
Now they're
"You
writing
actually
books about water,
get paid
new
to do
products
that?"
from Coke Japan,
Getting
water
paid
salad.
to share the message of you takes a basic understanding of the industry itself and
Because they have no
where
idea
you
what's
might
gonna
fit.
work and
No
what's not.
worries.
This, I
You
couldn't have written
won't
better myself. It came out
you won't
4
have
days
to
ago. I
learn a
circled the
totally
important parts.
different language of acronyms or master any technical procedures or sign up for drug testing. You just need to establish your speaking goal and have a working grasp of some basic terms to get started.
What could possibly be in an animated TV commercial featuring Tom Arnold that would get you to get in your car, drive across town, and buy a roast beef sandwich? You know, this is Copernicus, and he was right when he's talking to anyone who needs to hear your idea. The world revolves around me. Me, my favorite person, me. I don't want to get email from anybody. I want to get me mail.
You are speaking goals.
So consumers,
You are speaking goals. Each person reading this book has a different agenda. Some of you already have a speech and you want to make it funnier.
consumers
Some of you are funny and you are looking for the message behind your jokes. Some of you make your living as an actor
and in a world where we
or
have too
a
many
singer
choices,
and you are looking for new performance opportunities. Some of you have
and by
an urgent message you want to share with the world. Some of you are absolutely terrified to step on stage. It's important to me
pull over and say, oh,
that every person reading this book is successful.
but if the cow was purple, isn't that a great special effect? I could do that again if you want. If the cow was purple, you notice it for a while. I mean, if all cows are purple,
Commit
you
to
get
the
more
basics.
The thing that's going to decide
It's
what
important
gets talked
to
about,
me
what gets
that
done,
every
what
person
gets
reading
changed,
this
what
book
gets
is successful
perfect, what gets
because
built.
if I can help you to inspire others, if I can help you write a funnier speech,
It also means worth
if I can help you make a living doing something you love doing,
of where
then
ideas
I have made the world a little bit funnier,
The hottest car in the United States is a $55,000
a little less boring and a little more hopeful.
in its trunk.
Not that I hold myself to impossible standards or anything.
Every week, the #1 best-selling DVD in America changes.
Read through these descriptions of speaker
Always some
categories and figure out where you fit. Then I'm going to ask you to evaluate your current speaking goals and, most important, to make a commitment to finish your speech and to present it in front of a live audience. You can do this on Sweat. So here we go.
The only thing they have in common is that they're
The
different.
pros.
We're now in the
If you
fashion,
fall into
no
this
matter what we
this
do for a
category,
living,
you
we're in the
probably
fashion.
already
The thing is, people
have
in the
a
fashion
working
know it's
speech
to be in the fashion
that
business.
you use and
The
that
rest of us
serves
have to
you
figure
well.
out how to think that
But
way,
even
how to understand
established
it's not about
pros
interrupting
are anxious to
people
take their
care.
careers to the next level. Your challenge will be to try something different, such as adding more humor, more
This chair
more humor,
$1 billion worth
more
of chair.
personal stories,
Reinvented
and
the
uncoveling
selling
a
chair.
new
They
message
turned the chair from something the purchasing
and
department
writing a
bought
speech
to
on
something that was a
completely
status
different topic.
symbol about where you sat at work.
Yes.
This guy, Lionel Poulain, the most famous baker in the world, he died 2.5 months ago.
Okay.
He was a hero of mine and a dear friend. He lived in Paris. Last year he sold $10 million worth of
Emotional and
every loaf baked in a bakery he owned
Valuable.
by one baker at a time in a wood-fired oven. And when Lionel started his bakery, the French
Inspirational.
They didn't want to buy his bread. It didn't look like French bread. It wasn't what they expected. It was neat. It was remarkable. And slowly it spread from one person to another person until finally it became the official
Inspirational.
Michelin restaurant.
The pros, the National Speakers Association has 5,000 members across 36 local chapters.
Average products for average people. That's what mass marketing is. Smooth out the edges. Go for the center. That's
The demographic of professional speakers is relatively gender neutral, with men at 53% and women at 47%, and the majority between the ages of 46 and 55. On the whole, they are an educated bunch, with 35% holding master's degrees and another 14% with doctorates.
They'll tell their friends on the rest of the curve, and it'll spread. It'll spread through the entire curve. They have something I call otaku. It's a great Japanese word. It describes the desire of someone who's obsessed to say drive across Tokyo.
In the next 10 years, the NSA expects their membership to increase by 20%, meaning that for us aspiring pros out there, the speaking circuit is expanding to include you.
And make it easy for them to tell your friends. There's a hot sauce otaku, but there's no mustard otaku. That's why there's lots and lots and lots of kinds of hot sauces, and not so many kinds of mustard. Not because it's hard to make interesting mustard. You can make interesting mustard. But people don't, because no one's obsessed with it, and thus no one tells their friends. Krispy Kreme has figured this whole thing out. Krispy Kreme has a strategy, and what they do is they enter a city.
One of the biggest problems pro speakers have is that they ride the coattails of a speech they wrote 15 years ago. Can you say stale? Hey, Neil Armstrong, it's been a long time since you walked on the moon. How about a couple of different stories? All right. That was a big deal and we all want to hear that story. But if you are still relating anecdotes about meeting Nixon,
That's the only thing keeping his company in business.
it's time to update your material in these times. It's not enough to have one speech. If you want to be rebooked for the same company or next year's convention, you have got to have a new speech every year.
10 times the standard. But hospitals are buying it faster than any other model. Hard candy nail polish doesn't appeal to everybody, but to the people who love it, they talk about it like crazy. This paint can right here saved the Dutch Boy Paint Company, making them a fortune. Cost 35% more than regular paint, because Dutch Boy made a can that people talk about.
I have worked with past presidents of the National Speakers Association to help them write their new speeches, and it doesn't matter how many times they have stepped on stage. The minute they see the blank page in front of them, they are reduced to a puddle of fear and anxiety. Actually, I have found that the more successful a speaker is, the harder it is to try something new. It doesn't matter if you have been at it for years. When you are working on a brand new speech, you feel like a novice. You have no idea where to start, and you often find yourself in those well-worn routes.
Fastest growing business in the whole mortuary industry. But you don't have to be Ozzy Osbourne. You don't have to be super outrageous to do this. What you have to do is figure out what people really want and give it to them. A couple quick rules.
Well-worn routes.
The first one is design.
You have used to travel all this time to get out of those routes. I suggest you focus on chapter 3, where I show you how to CSI your life lessons of the message of your new speech for you overseas readers. CSI is an acronym made popular from a TV show where crime scene investigators look at the small details of an event to find its meaning. I've taken artistic license and I'm using it as a verb. Even if you don't want to write a new speech, examining your current speech with a fresh eye can turn a good speech into a great one and make the difference between charging $1,500 per appearance or $25,000 just to show up. The main component you might be lacking funny. You need to add a heaping dose of funny to your material, and you need to make sure the humor is consistently present throughout your speech. I have seen speakers open with a funny story, but once they get to content, things get serious and it's a long ride to the next laugh. As a matter of fact, the funnier you are, the more effective your speech will be.
So, what you need to do is figure out who does care. Who is going to raise their hand and say, I want to hear what you're doing next, and sell something to them. The last example I want to give you, this is a map of
Studies have shown that when material is presented with humor, it raises the retention rates. It's no wonder that politicians, marketing executives, and copywriters all use comedy writers to punch up their material, because humor makes audiences take notice and retain information. So follow along to uncover or maybe rediscover the message of you. And in part 2, chapter 15, even if you are a tax attorney,
Thank you very much.
I will show you how to keep the audience laughing throughout your entire speech. The techies. Okay. Up their material because humor makes audience.
Jimmy Donaldson, he is the most followed
Humor
person
makes,
in the world. Literally, he's got billions.
Humor
billions
makes
of
audiences
viewers. His
take
empire
notice
spans,
and
Mr.
retain
Beast,
information.
YouTube
So
channel, Beast Games,
follow
Amazon
along to
Prime,
uncover
festivals,
or maybe
philanthropy, and so much
rediscover
more.
the message of you. And
in
in
just
part
a
of
moment,
and in part 2,
we're gonna bring
chapter
out,
15,
the CEO
even if you
of
are
this
a
company.
tax
He's gonna be joining
attorney,
us in a little bit.
I will
to
show you
discuss
how
the
to
business of
keep
all this.
the
But I wanna
audience
start,
laughing.
With
I will show you how to keep
By the way, do
audience
people
laughing
say
throughout
to you,
the entire
Jimmy,
speech.
Or do they call you
The techies.
Mr. Beast?
Usually, if they're over the age of 10, I prefer to go by.
There are a whole
Yeah.
slew
Or there's
of
you can just call me
techie
Jimmy.
speakers
There's a lot of people
who
here, by the way,
have
who wanna
extraordinarily
bring their kids, just so you know.
specific
I mean,
and
I don't know if they
technical
find the rest
expertise
interesting,
in
but-
their fields. You are the
They're the last
beta
two ones.
testers and the first adapters. In fact,
Thank you.
if you are
Let me ask you
techie
this,
reading
though.
this book,
And maybe we just
you
start,
probably
with how this all
downloaded it.
happened. And I wanna say happened
Downloaded
to
it
you,
in
because this is something
digital
that you
format.
did on your
If
own.
it's not a
But,
legal
you know,
download,
all of
I'm
this started
coming with
with this video.
handcuffs,
You were 11 years old.
and no,
Yeah.
you won't enjoy
And
it.
I just want to understand sort of what your
Break out
childhood was
of
like.
the breakout session. Break
What
out.
led you to want to
Break
actually
out
play
of
on
the
YouTube,
breakout sessions.
and where you thought it could even go.
Very often techies
Yeah.
get
Well,
stuck
when I
as
was younger, I had
lower
a
paid
weird obsession.
breakout
It ended
session
up working out,
speakers.
but I was really
How to
curious
breakout
why
sessions
certain
are the
pieces of content,
workshops
would get
that
100
are
million views and
offered
others
during
would
a
get 100.
convention, and attendance
From
is
a young
optional.
age, I really just studied what virality was, and I found that I
The
really
audiences
enjoyed
are
making videos, I really enjoyed telling
the audiences
stories.
are smaller but
When I was 11,
usually
12,
more
13,
attentive,
14, 15,
and the
16, 17,
pay is much
yeah, you'd work on a video
much
for days
lower
and two
than
people would watch it.
than a
And
general
obviously
session
that was very
with
frustrating,
a
and so
keynoter,
I spent my
which
entire
which is
teenage years
usually
just
mandatory
basically studying.
for
Right
the
now,
entire audience.
2% of all
For
humanity's
techies,
time is spent on YouTube. Most people
For
don't realize
techies
that.
to
It's pretty
become a
crazy.
keynoter,
And
I
that
recommend
time is
really
basically
paying
dictated
attention in
by
chapter
what the
3,
algorithm
where
puts
I
on your
will
homepage,
ask
and
you
so
to go
why
beyond
is there
the
certain videos
data
over others?
that
And that was
you
kind of
know
my obsession
and
for
travel
like
to a
8 or 9
distant
years because
universe
I was just tired of making
where
these videos
where
and all
few
I do is
techies
your mother think
have
all
gone.
the time, you were
Your
saying.
emotions
That was
and
crazy,
passions
I was gonna get
and
kidnapped,
revealing
and it
a
was-
little
and
about
everywhere
your
else
life.
is obviously
And
go to
I'm
college
not
or
talking
homeless,
about the
so
emotional
it was-
experience of
eventually,
accident
she came around once it worked
accidentally
out.
dropping your
Talk
iPhone
about it, working out.
in the
I want to
toilet.
show a video of you. This really struck me, and I think it speaks
Oh, boy.
to
You can
what happened
you can be
in
a
your
financial
life
advisor,
and where you are
a social
today.
media expert,
Can we
a
roll this?
software
This is
engineer,
something that
or
you posted
an
very
actuary.
recently.
You are what I call pure content speakers or techies. Without stepping on your toes, some of your presentations, while important and much in demand, can also be absolutely painful to sit through. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. You have been trapped in a folding chair listening as your company's sales director plodded through a humorless PowerPoint with 2 hours of slides filled with mind-numbing charts and graphs. Even if the topic was relevant to your job and informative by the time all was said and done, you'd turned into a zombie drained of your life force.
60 years now, like random dates.
Okay, so how ambitious
If you are currently working as a content speaker or aspire to make your break in business and or technical speaking, I don't mean to discourage you. In fact, I am here to encourage you. Content doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be pure facts and figures. Most content speakers usually focus 80% of their speech on their expertise instead of sharing the lessons learned from their personal life and relating those. Making your message stick. You can't just have a lot of mind-numbing numbers in your speech. If people don't remember what you say, you might as well not say it. By including personal stories, you can make your message stick. Brian Lord, speaker agent, VP of Premier Speakers Bureau.
Figure out what you're interested in and serving you it.
Okay, sharing the lessons learned from their personal life and relating those lessons back to the technical content. Case study. Philippa James, speaker and author of 42 Laws for a web presence that wins. My area of expertise is web and social media strategy, and I never expected to hear anyone say you changed my life. You changed my life. But it happened. People in my audiences have said that I've changed their lives because I've changed how they think about their approach to their online presence. They behave differently and see great results.
That's why no one watched videos back then when you saw that.
This has led me to conclude that all speakers and motivational speakers, we are all hoping to influence our audiences to think, feel, or act differently in some regard. Take, for example, my client Becky Buckley.
And then
who
we
is
could only
a
really watch for a certain
certified
amount of time, and
financial
couple of things
planner.
had to happen
She
quickly.
came
In a way
to
that's
see
so
me
different than the way
because
I grew
she
up,
wanted to
where
grow
I would watch a 2-hour
her
movie
business
and be
by
happy to do
speaking
it.
to women's groups.
I don't know if the next generation is.
Well, that's what it felt like for a while. But what's pretty interesting.
Her business by speaking to women's groups.
Of course, it's just
Her presentations were full of
YouTube as a whole, especially in America. The average video
full
length
of
that
full
people are
of
seeing getting longer because
full of
over
all
people
kinds
watch
of
times on television.
helpful
And so, right
numbers
now,
and
if
lists,
you want to do really well
but
for US
they were
audience,
easily
that's longer
dismissed
content. Like, our videos
as
speak
boring
12,
death
15
by
minutes now, they're closer to 25,
PowerPoint
30.
financial
So,
talks.
I mean, and it's
It
obviously
wasn't-
depends on parts of the world and stuff, but agreed. In general, yes, people's attention span are.
It wasn't
So when do you know this could be
until she dug into her own personal experiences that her speech really came to life.
It's like anything, it doesn't just hit you one day.
Becky had been deeply touched by working with one particular client and newly widowed woman who didn't even know the passwords of her husband's bank account.
Join us in just a little bit.
The widow was on the verge of becoming homeless, and Becky had to come more than just her accountant. Becky became her lifeline, and through their friendship, her client prospered. More important, Becky realized that there was a real need among women to take better control of their finances. As I pushed her to tell me more, it became very clear that Becky didn't just want more clients. She wanted to make a difference in the lives of women.
30, television
So who's
stations.
famous to you right now? And are the people that are famous? I imagine a lot of people who are famous to you are not famous to me.
Probably not. Like,
Three.
I mean, you've heard of like,
Three,
I suppose,
four,
Steve or
five.
Ice Matt or
A little bit.
okay.
Okay, great.
I mean, younger people. That's who's relevant.
And
to
so
this.
then the question, but this is an interesting question. Generationally, are those people that you just mentioned the next Tom?
She had a mission.
20 and 30 years from now, or is it something funny?
She had a mission, a message. She wanted to impart.
Like I said,
She wanted to
I mean, we're
empower
a
women.
little bit of an inner
But-
voice here,
but-
for the most
okay,
part,
wait.
it's just it's allowed the people
But
to
she
find more
wasn't
specific
going to
content they want.
do it
So
with
we're
charts
one of those-
and graphs.
our videos
She
average
had to
200 views a pop, but
dig
no one
deep.
else gets anywhere near that.
200 million views.
Yeah, but for most
Dig
people, it's
deep.
like a couple million, and so
Put-
instead of one Tom Cruise, you'd have like
Put herself
20.
out there
Give her
and
one thing.
tell her heart story.
You can
The
watch
story of
videos
how her
on,
unlikely
a
friendship
Roblox,
with
watch video on Minecraft,
a
you can afford that.
widow
It's so much more fragmented.
enriched
Like I said,
both
like,
of
30
their
or 40
lives and
television
launched her
stations.
new
So
career.
It's
It's a speech that not only gets her standing ovations, but now she has got more clients than she can handle.
You started today.
Becky is well on her way to becoming the next Suze Orman. Just like Becky, each and every one of us has a gift to give. Gift to give. The story of our lives, chapter 13, will assist you to find that perfect personal stories that drives home your message, turning facts and figures into memorable moments, helping your audience connect to the facts and figures. Using personal stories, experiences, and humor can turn a twice-a-year technical presentation into an in-demand hot topic for the speaking circuit, and bump a techie up to a pro.
Giant spectacle, but in terms, especially on the Mystery Channel, obviously, if I'm not filming, then we're not posting. So ideally, that is the most optimal use of my time at the moment.
You took to Twitter recently, or I should say X, and you said something that struck me. You said, after some reflection, I want
The entertainers, there is a major problem happening for performers, and I call it the phenomena of binger shows, where a comic or singer or performer must not only produce their own show, but they have to guarantee a certain number of paying audience members before they are even allowed to perform in 2 words. That
Because we have a
sucks.
lot going on, just refocusing on the content. And yeah, the context with that is, we've been big for quite a while. So I think for just really right now, it's
The speaking
especially,
profession is a
you talked about
way
content
for
and
comics,
stuff.
actors,
Giving
dancers,
people more and
mimes,
more is just great stories and really
jugglers,
focusing
singers,
on
and storytellers
more impactful
to get
stories
off
and really
the
getting people
couch.
where they feel things. Like,
So
we spend $20
stop
video
waiting
to
for
be spectacle,
the
but,
phone to ring
after
and
we've been
step in front of an
big for
appreciative
7 years now,
audience
you get a
for
lot
a full
money
hour
to give away,
in
that's
front of a
but
sold
hearing a great
sold
story
out
is
house
very
with
enough
no
too. So just
hecklers,
really focusing the team on,
and you don't have to produce the show.
And I don't know how many people here
The only
watch
thing you
these
have to
videos.
bring is a great speech with an appealing message.
I appreciate that, but oftentimes that means doing things that either have bigger prizes in terms of money or more.
Case study: Lola Gilbard. Lola Gilbard,
How much do you
speaker
worry
and
that
humorist.
at some point
The
you just
the
can't clear the bar?
entertainment
It's just
industry
not- you
might
break
be
it, then you
notorious
at some point,
for
even if
ageism,
you're gonna get too
but
dangerous
the
or too
speaking
expensive,
industry
or too
actually wants you to look, act, and be. Older humorist Lola Gilbard gets speaking gigs and she's in her 80s. When was the last time you saw an 80-year-old female comic with her own special and Comedy Central? Never.
$1 million, $5 million if this person runs a mile or whatever it is, but there's a bunch of other less obvious stuff that you can pull that, elevate a video that people wouldn't really be able to articulate, but they would tell if they watched the content. So it's just focusing on all those granular things and just constantly improving them every time. And that's where if you watch a video year apart, you won't really be able to say why it's better, but you just can tell it's better.
You started on YouTube. I'm curious how you think about the other platforms. I know there was a time when Elon Musk was tweeting at you to make his videos on his platform. I'm curious how you think about Instagram. There was a moment in which you were can actually buy a stake.
Mick Rayburn
part of a group
had a
of,
successful
TikTok.
comedy
How do you think
guitar
about
act.
different platforms today?
Even
And
playing
what-
Carnegie Hall.
Or has YouTube already just
May I
run away
make
with it?
content like this on
If you're trying to reach as
Mr.
many
Elon
people
Musk
as
search
possible, you should
app
definitely not all of them because
called Twitter,
there's a certain fragmented
called X.
audience on them. It just depends what your goal is. At the end of the day, if you're trying to actually build
make content like this.
I guess for lack of better
on
words, a community
his
or get where
channel.
a lot of people care about you. YouTube is 100% it because if you spend an hour on flipping
He
through
will help.
TikTok, you'll watch 200 TikToks and then you put someone what they saw they can't even remember. Like people with ridiculous views.
Rayburn had a
followers,
successful
do a
content
mean
act.
green can't even get
Act.
5 people to show up because there's a big difference between someone consuming a 5-second clip of you versus sitting down and watching a 20-minute video and hearing you speak and getting to know you. So YouTube is infinitely more dominant in terms of if you actually want to build a business or build a fan base.
Mike Rayburn had a successful comedy guitar act, even playing Carnegie Hall, but he wanted to do more than make people laugh. He wanted to change people's lives after years of trial and error. He found his message about showing people to not be stopped by their own limitations. In his speech, he comes on with his guitar, but then his music and humor, the vehicle to communicate his message. He illustrates his points with his guitar.
But if you were to say which one,
As a speaker, I wanted the audience to walk away laughing and loving the message. The results? In 2011, Mike was inaugurated into the National Speakers Association's Hall of Fame and is one of America's top keynote speakers.
But how much time do you spend on it? Do you
Many of the entertainers
from this? Do you
have probably performed at
phone?
corporate gigs, usually doing your act after an awards dinner or emceeing a sales convention or singing after lunch. Actually, corporate gigs are where most celebrity comics make the bulk of their income. Oh,
different layers of it. Which So you can curate your feed where it actually is beneficial, but it takes a lot of effort. So,
But I think you have curated your feed, and most of the things that you do try to be positive. Am I right?
In Jerry Seinfeld's documentary,
getting a lot of
comedian Jay Leno makes a point to say that he doesn't spend a dime of his
I don't know if my kids are
of
here.
his
They are somewhere.
of his Tonight Show money.
Jonathan, He's written a book. He says that kids shouldn't
But
have smartphones
lives-
until high school.
but
And
lives
it's been
nicely
reported,
on.
around the country about the impact
But
of
lives
social
nicely
media
on.
kids' brain. So given what you do for a living now, the success you had touching social media at a very early age, but also I think recognizing many of these issues, you don't have kids of your own. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good question. I
Thank you.
I haven't put too much thought into it. I think it does depend what platform, because YouTube is a lot. I mean, for lack of better words, a lot less brain rot than theoretically TikTok, and there is a lot more educational content on it. So yeah,
Right.
just
His
like it,
speaking
it's mostly
engagements
that, because, like,
and
like,
live shows, Leno's current fee is $160,000 for a corporate event. This much people die in a day, men and women including. Case study from stand-up to speaking. After I performed my speech for the first time, a woman from the audience hugged me and said, "Thank you for your message." I had touched her, and that is way more gratifying than the free hot wings offered by most comedy clubs. Jackie Fabulous, speaking student and pro comic on moving from stand-up to speaking.
At some point, we want to be able to give the 1.4 billion unique people around the world who has watched Jimmy's content in the last 90 days a chance to be owners of the company.
Okay, so before we get into it, how did you guys meet? How does this relationship work?
Yeah.
You said he basically gives you vacation time. But you're the
I give them tons of time off, right?
You give him time.
That's how it goes.
You tons of time off.
We've been
Working.
together 18
Good.
months, and I've taken 3 days
Better
off.
than
He's
anything.
taken 3 days off.
And everything. Actually, everything is good. God bless to everyone. Everything.
Philosophy of Vincenzo
Just
wants
keep
to work
improving the
together.
lives
We met one of the
as
investors
a
introduced us,
5-year and good life
I did
to
a 60-minute
all.
Zoom with Jimmy. And
Jackie
he
Fabulous,
extended from doing
speaking
charitable
students
talks
and
to
forever,
And he was
and pro comic
And you would think that's
on
kind of
moving
normal.
from stand-up to
He's
speaking.
being flash mobbed in a Walmart while he's
Wow.
restocking our chocolate Feastables because he has such a high bar for customers.
In other words,
Accountants displayed
I'm
in the
just
hall. So after 60 minutes, he says to me,
I'm just
"Bro, for 55,
feeling-
not so cringe. You want to hang out?"
feeling and
And here
believing
we are.
a little I'm with her and
Do you feel you have a whole new
living good
lexicon
great
now?
life with
He calls me cringe
being
daddy.
both computed and
Cringe daddy.
I know.
So
keeping my
walk through. No,
every
but
near dear
Did we have to
near
find
ones and
He's
to
much better at
all,
business than
near
Joe,
to
I
far,
promise.
all forever. Better
So this
Doing
business,
better,
as I said,
great
has this $5.2 billion valuation. Walk through the various businesses and to the extent you can tell us, you know, where the money lies, if you will.
Sure.
in other words,
We have 3 divisions.
the real money is
Which
in
obviously is
speaking.
Jimmy talked about YouTube
Oh.
as the anchor, but our shorts on TikTok and Instagram. Beast Games, which season 2 is airing in January. We just dropped animation. We also are working.
In other words, the real
on
money is in
all the
speaking,
content
and
in one division, and that today
here
is
is
about half
the
that.
big secret about the industry. You don't have to be a celebrity to make the serious money. Yes, if you are the host of your own late night TV show.
Our toy is now the #1 action figure in America, and our Lunchly, which is our snack product, in addition to our joint venture with
TV show, you will be getting speaking fees
We're also
of
launching a
$160,000 and more.
financial
But
services
since meeting
platform there.
planners and desperate for funny speakers, there is room for those of us who have little or no media exposure to command high fees. It is truly possible to make a decent living and still be creative, inventive, and original. It's not selling out.
So
It's
how
not
right
selling
now,
out.
for example, the chocolate business, is that the biggest business, or you're saying the content business is the biggest?
So we haven't
Okay.
launched the global
And
creator
new-
platform yet. So half is in the consumer products division,
And,
half is in the media
Problem,
division.
challenge,
Half is in the
solution,
media
action,
And
interesting,
how much of this is going to be a
action.
U.S. business, you think, long term,
Like games.
versus a global business,
Like game.
international business?
So what's fascinating, I love watching
Interesting
that video
games,
of Jimmy, right? 10 years ago, he was praying for
Uh,
1 million followers. And last month, we hit 1 billion followers
across everything.
across the world and across, and 70%
And the
of
great
our
thing
viewers
is,
are outside of
all
North
what is-
America. So from day one, we're a global media company, and now we're working on monetizing
It's-
that viewership.
It's not selling out. It's working with the bonus of getting paid, entertaining, and making people laugh, and making a difference in people's lives.
Being the face of
Yeah.
this whole thing. And do
You have
say
to
this-
work clean. You have to work clean and can't say George Carlin's 7 dirty words, and that's why.
You may be able to do that with AI.
When I'm on the road. After a speech, I will hop into a comedy club where I can say exactly what I want.
It's over-indexed at the moment, but a lot
Case
of the,
study: Steve Rizzo,
for a lot of trends and
speaker and humorist.
skill set, whether you it's me in the video,
Humorist.
I hope people like me, but it's not fundamentally why we get
As a comic turned speaker, Steve Rizzo got successful fast as he had what many speakers don't have. He's funny.
By the way, and we've never
In the
covered a bunch
80s,
of times it was that.
Steve was a
say necessarily the craziest
was a
things
comic
that you
headlining
announced
comedy
earlier.
clubs
That's
and
very provocative.
appearing on TV, but something was missing. There is a teacher part of me that wasn't being used as a comic.
Given this large audience
That's
that you
when I
have,
discovered
do you want
speaking
to,
at
have
speaking at the time he
You don't
transitioned
go into politics,
to
for
speaking.
example.
Drew
There are-
Carey
it seems like there are
was
ways you
Steve's
just do not
roommate and said, "You are not going
What do you
to
think about it?
do this
The things you
speaking
wish you
crap,
could say,
are
but
you?"
can't?
No, not really. It's the thing is, you ask some of the best questions. Usually people just ask me boring stuff. Let me think on it. Usually like, well, what makes a video get views?
I told Drew that I wanted to make a difference in the other people's lives. I wanted to give people useful tool while I entertain them. I found my message by looking at how I personally used humor, and positive thinking to build up my self-esteem. Once I had my message, companies started booking me. I've made 10 times the amount of money
And not just
I made as a comic.
like that. Meaning there was sort of
10 times, big number. Steve Rizzo speaks on using your sense of humor and the power of positive thinking. Wow.
Obviously, spits out free cash and pays
Using your
impact in the world. So, in that case, it just. But I didn't fully
Using your
realize
sense of
the
humor
extent
and the power of
that it was
positive
when we
thinking.
first started the chocolate
Using your
company,
sense of
but
humor
as I started
and the power of positive
applying
thinking.
it, I was like, oh, there's
To overcome
little kids on
obstacles,
the farm.
his
And they're like,
presentation
yeah,
is
that's how
called
it is. I was like, oh.
Laugh It Off.
And
You
then I went
owe
to the
it
supplier, and I was
to
like, is there a way I
yourself.
can pay more to not have child labor? And they're like, no, that's just kind of how chocolate is. And I was
They-
like, oh, okay, well, all right. And then that's what we've been working on in that case for 3 years now, and figuring out, which, is a lot more complicated than it might seem, because you can't just go tell a farmer, don't use a child, because then what do they do? That's their farm work. So it takes a lot of effort, and the root cause of it is just because farmers make on average less than $1 a day. So we have to pay our farmers a living income reference price. We look at the price of inflation and living and all these different things, and we go, hey, we'll pay you this reference price, but in exchange you have to not, blah, blah. And then there's just also we double it up with our videos. So like we have a video coming up where we're building schools around the world, and so a lot of the kids we get out of child labor now they're not working on the farm, but their village doesn't have a school. So now we're going through and building schools, and so then it's just like where does the work stop? So it's a very complicated issue, which is convenient for people who want to be able to source the cow cheaply because then they can just hide behind it and be like, oh, there's nothing you can do, and yeah. So I don't even remember what you asked, but.
The essence of it is, how do we use this amazing reach for a platform for good?
Oh yeah, so you were asking like, are there controversial things you want to talk about? Thank you. No, it's because it's like, then all that would do is just instantly make, have people hate me, and like, I don't really care because I want to focus on these things that, we can actually make a change on. Because I'm never going to source all the cow in the world, but we can get it where we scale profitably, so we can actually ethically source the cacao, not use rampant illegal child labor while being profitable, and then, we use our videos to shine a light on it and just parade companies that do. Hopefully that could cause a snowball effect that could get over 1 million kids out of child labor. So it's like I'd rather use the spotlight for things like that as opposed to just saying the same old thing.
How much do you think about using social media and then thinking about legacy media? So you now have this deal with Amazon. You have the second season of your show coming out in January. It's going to be a big deal. How important is...
There are two ways companies and organizations use entertainers as performers, as speakers. And what is the difference between an entertainer hired to give a show and an entertainer hired to give a keynote? Around $20,000. I was hired by an insurance company to do 1 hour funny motivational speech on a week cruise in the Caribbean. The comics on board were hired by the ship. One of them had just done Letterman. The week prior, they were housed in the bow of the ship, had to do 4 shows a week, and were paid my life.
You spent a fortune on the first season. Yeah, I mean, to the point where you lost money. Well, you should probably
paid $1,500 total. I was flown first class, allowed to travel with a friend, given a deluxe room, and had all expenses paid.
Just made everything bigger than anything's ever been done, and then times it by 10. So, like for example, we built a city where the contestants literally lived out of. So they literally lived in a city we built.
All expenses paid on the last day. I gave a 1 hour keynote address at 8 a.m. My fee for
because no one's going there to watch a 10-episode show.
But this, we don't think of it as spend. We think of it as investment. Yes. So we built this.
My fee for that was $25,000. There is the difference. The challenge for you entertainers to become higher paid speakers is to add the message of you to your routine. Unlike techies who have an overabundance of content with few laughs, entertainers need to create content that has value for an audience. Being an entertainer is often about getting laughs. Is about getting laughs, applause, and acknowledgement. On the other hand, speaking is about giving an audience empathy, solutions, and practical advice. The goal of the entertainers will be not only adding a sincere message of you to your performance, but actually giving the audience solid action steps on how your advice can improve their lives. I highly suggest viewing it through part 1.
Jimmy has this innate ability to tell an amazing story that appeals globally.
Part 1, where you find your core promise as well as developing action steps that can bring an audience closer to their goals.
And what we did was say, that's great for YouTube, that would be great for streaming, that's great for animation, that would be great for a theme park, maybe that's a micro drama that's good for TikTok. And so we're taking all these crazy
the
ideas
and
and crazy stories
the
and putting them
entrepreneurs.
onto the platform.
The entrepreneurs offline is the new online, along with a strong web presence. Speaking is an essential tool for entrepreneurs. Face to face is the new interface.
About
Great.
No, and you said to me, "Oh, this is the hard question, or this is the journalism question." My question to you is the lesson.
The vast majority of speakers stepping on stage or attempting to break into the market are entrepreneurs, ambitious go-getters, and who pursue speaking opportunities to find new clients to sell their products and supplement their income. If you fit into the category
the
of
big thing is, obviously, I learned why people don't have 2,000 people compete in a show because you're essentially creating
into this category, you might work in sales, consulting, and management for financial, government, and or educational institutions. But you also might be self-published authors, freelancers, or small business owners. Or maybe you are an inventor whose
But obviously, yes, some people sue you. I'm sure people in here have been sued before because they just want to try to make some money. But
listen, we're always learning and getting better.
who's figured
So,
inventor who's figured out a method to lose weight using rubber bands in a whole new way.
You're talking about getting into finance, getting into all sorts of other businesses. What is this
Product
ultimate goal? We're all sitting
product
together
promotion.
in the future, a decade
The late
now.
Steve Jobs, founder and former CEO of Apple, turned his speech of introducing new products into an art form, dressed in jeans and a turtleneck, never standing in front of a podium, but rather strolling on stage.
Fandom and our ability to tell stories and to connect on a human level, make the world a better place.
Who do you think today is there a role model, either someone alive, dead, or otherwise? I know you have
Never standing in front of a podium, but rather strolling on the stage.
That's the North Star.
Make the world a better place.
Who do you think today is there a role model, either someone alive, dead, or otherwise? I know you have 10 years to deep industries now. You showed the new video. What is
66 human beings.
Yeah, Jeff, what is it?
So, our mission is to be the most impactful entertainment brand in the world. And so, if we're sitting here 10 years ago, if we make a video to ourselves sitting here right now, I hope that comes true. That we're creating content that entertains, inspires, and educates, and that we're helping to make kindness viral, and that we're using Jimmy's fandom and our ability to tell stories and
Kindness.
connect on a human level,
Kindness
make the
vibe.
world a better place.
Make the
Who
world
do you think
better.
today is there a role model, either someone alive, dead, or
Impact,
otherwise? I know you have
entertainment,
a poster, I think, of Steve Jobs. on your wall,
education,
but who is out there that
philanthropy,
you go, that's the North Star?
creator, entrepreneur,
Well, there's
Mr.
not
Jimmy
really
Donaldson.
anyone who's,
And
doing
Mr.
YouTube content
Jeff
at a level we're doing while also
Hussein
trying to run a
Bolt,
company while also
Bolt,
trying to run a
Hussein
bank
Bolt,
and this and that.
and
So,
Mr. Teshan,
it's more, for me, I just like the,
Global 5 Women Empowerment 5.
like Elon has some positive
He,
things about him.
he
Sometimes
never
there's
let the
things
fact
crazy
that
things
he
on
was
Twitter
a
and
techie
other
turn his
political things,
speeches
but,
into a
at the end of the
mechanical
day,
recitation
at the end of the day, like,
of
for
bytes
example,
of
like,
jargon.
it's clearly
Rather, he
different than,
connected
something you can
on
put
a
out there
human
and
level
at the same
using
time,
stories
and
about how
see that
Apple
it
products
actually can
change
happen.
the
Like, obviously,
change
that
the
is
lives
part
of the
that,
people who use them.
obviously, but
It may
it's
it may have
taking the best
looked
part of possible.
like
We all have
Jobs
iPhones still to this day. I mean, it literally probably will be the greatest product
Jobs
ever
was
created.
talking off
I don't care
the
if
cuff,
that's how it
but
feels. So
he
I find
admitted
that, like,
to
nuggets
spending a
is
great
more
deal of
affordable,
time
but, yeah,
memorizing
like,
and
you know,
rehearsing
one person out of
his speeches. That's the brilliance of a great speaker, making a well-rehearsed speech look improvised. The result was massive sales, maybe not just because of his speeches,
So what do you think of all this?
not just because of his speech.
I remember it was Well, yeah, well, you should ask her. She was like, go for it. It was, well, yeah, well, you should ask her. She was like, go to college or move out. And I didn't have enough money to move out because no one was watching the videos. So it was like community college. It's not like we could, like, afford like a real college. But, so I would act like I was going to college. You would call it what?
A great speech is absolutely essential for anyone who wants to promote their products or services. I know when my speech hits home because there is a long line at the back of the room waiting to buy my books, CDs and DVDs.
So I literally counted 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted 40 hours straight.
If you are an entrepreneur, you already know that there is no substitute for personal relationships and name recognition. Speaking rather than tweeting can be a way to attract new customers, especially now.
To continue the story, he was making enough money from YouTube that he was making more than his mom.
Yeah.
And so
That's why I really clicked in her head.
yeah. And then
Like, oh, okay, you're not going to be homeless. I'm good.
And then at some point he said, Mom, I have enough money I could pay you. Come join me. And that's the story.
Okay, so my mom's still in charge of me. Who's in charge here? Are you in charge? Or
No, Jeff is definitely in charge. He's up in it.
We play good cop, bad cop. He has no idea how much
He
he takes.
works for me.
Mr. Beast, Jimmy, Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. This is a lot of fun.
When we are all overwhelmed with impersonal web relationships of offline is the new online, meaning face-to-face human interaction is still the most powerful way to get new clients and to sell products and services. With that said, nobody wants to sit through a 1-hour sales pitch, and believe me, audiences will have no patience if they sense you are a salesman using your speech just to move merchandise or drum up business. At a book signing, authors can no longer just read from their books. They have to connect with their audiences, move them and inspire them using a well thought out speech.
Is this out of the picture?
If your goal is to speak to get more clients or sell products, your challenge will be to create a keynote that has value in and of itself. It has to be informative, helpful and motivational. Pay close attention to chapter 3, where you will discover the personal stories that will ultimately become your heart story. Okay. Mr. Dwayne and Mr. Tony. Heart story. If you really connect to people with your speech, then after your speech, there will be a long line at the back of the room to buy your book. Sign on to your timeshare book. Sign on to your timeshare or even hire you for your next gig. Some entrepreneurs will speak for free and come home with $20,000 in BOR board back of room.
To see which species was the
Sales.
most efficient at getting from point A to point B, and they measured the
The
kilocalories
survivors.
each one expended. So they ranked them all, and I remember that the Condor one. The Condor was the most efficient jet.
and then Thomas Alva.
And
Mr. Thomas Alva.
Humankind, with the crown of
It is-
creation, came in with a rather
Okay.
unimpressive
The
show.
survivors, as I call them, are everyday people whose lives were rocked to the core by either a monumental event such as surviving a climb up Mount Everest, winning an Olympic medal, or writing this damn
They
book.
measured the efficiency of
Great book.
locomotion.
But seriously, some of you have survived tragedy such as living through a plane crash
Top of the list,
or swimming through a
past everything else.
tsunami
And
or
humans came in about a third
something
down the list.
something much more
Not such a great showing.
intimate
Crown of creation.
intimate
But somebody
excuse me,
there had
intimate
the
and
imagination
personal
to test the
personal like personal like
human rights
filing
bicycle blew
for
away
divorce.
all the way off the top of the
Personal
list.
like
And it
filing for
made a really
divorce.
big impression on me that we humans are tool builders.
Losing your only son,
Fashion tools that amplify these inherent abilities that we have to spectacular
losing your only son,
and so
or
for me,
fighting
computers
drug
help
addiction.
bicycle
You are the people actively seeking the meaning of your lives.
and,
You are the
I think
baby
we're just
boomers,
the early
retirees,
stages of
and
this tool.
okay,
Very early.
retirees and cancer survivors
very
who
short
want to
distance.
pass
Still in
on your
information,
wisdom.
but already we
You are the laid off
compared to what's
underemployed workers who found a second chance and a second paycheck. You are the expert of your own lives. You have something to say, and you want to help other people who may be struggling with similar issues. Your demographics cross every age, race,
Let me answer
and
the question slightly.
gender divide. You currently work or have worked in every possible job imaginable. You want to make sense out of your struggles, and you want to inspire, motivate, and be applauded for having made it to the other side. Perhaps you want to heal yourself by helping to heal others.
Pulled out this disc from this vest pocket and said, I have this incredible new program. I call it a visual calculator. It became VisiCalc. And that's what really propelled the Apple II to the success it achieved. More than any other single.
From storytelling to speaking, you can't just depend on your survivor story to speak. To be a paid speaker, you have to figure out how people can apply what you have learned to their everyday life. To make the leap from a storyteller to motivational speaker, you have to connect the dots, break down the steps for the audience on how they can make changes in their life. Find one thing that they can do today rather than change their whole life.
At least we want to give people a vision of where things are heading.
Brian Lord, Speaker Agent, VP of Premier Speakers Bureau. Case study, W. Mitchell.
And at that point, people could start
Was burned over 65% of his body when a laundry truck turned in front of the motorcycle he was riding in San Francisco. His face and hands were badly scarred, and he lost most of each of his 10 fingers.
And what desktop publishing did for publishing was revolutionize it using these desktop devices.
Then just 4 years later, he crashed a small aircraft he was piloting. And injured his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. W. Mitchell speaks on it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. do about it.
In fact, even slower than
He
men.
not only inspires his audience to shift their attitudes
Can change
about
electronic
living
organization.
with paralysis and
And
facing
what's
life's
starting to happen
problems.
is as we start to link
He has
these
improved-
computers together with
he has
sophisticated
improved
networks and great user
the quality of his own life
We're starting to be able to
tremendously
create
by opening
clusters of
up
people
and
working
telling
on
his story.
tasks
He has a thriving career and has become a millionaire with homes in Santa Barbara in Hawaii.
no matter who they work for hierarchically. And
W.
these
Mitchell
organizations can
didn't
live for as long
set
as
out
they're
to
needed and then
become a millionaire, and
And we're
I
finding
am
we can
certain
reorganize our
when
companies
his plane
electronically,
went down,
very rapidly.
he
And that's
wasn't
the
thinking,
only type of
how can I
organization that can begin
profit
to keep pace
from
with
this
changing
moment?
business conditions. And I believe that this collaborative model
From this
has been
moment.
in higher education for a long time, but we're starting to see it applied into the commercial world as well. And this is going to be the third major revolution that these desktop computers provide. It's revolutionizing human-to-human communication and group work. We call it interpersonal computing.
But W. Mitchell found a reason to live,
And now we're going to extend that as
found a reason to speak, and by speaking created an entirely new life. An entirely new life.
Of the computer in the mid-1960s or whenever you first saw one. And where are we now? What was how did the PC enact that change?
I first saw my first computer when I was 12.
Many survivor
I saw my
speakers
first computer when I was 12.
start their careers by speaking for free to non-profit organizations.
Which was connected to a big computer somewhere. And I got a time-sharing account on it. And I was fascinated by it.
Organizations,
I saw my
schools,
second
churches,
computer a few years later, which was
any place
really the first desktop
they can
computer
reach
ever made.
others
It was
with their
Apple.
message.
Called the
One of
9100A.
my speaking students art
And it was very large. Had a
was
very small
swamped
capital
with
display.
offers of speak
And I got a chance to play with one of
at
those
drug rehab
in
clinics.
1968.
Art had been a homeless
Spent
drug
every
addict,
spare moment I had
When?
trying to write programs for it.
homeless drug addict.
And so I was probably fairly lucky.
Who got off drugs,
It was very rapidly moved from
went back to
trauma,
school and became a therapist.
12 months or so,
His story
actually
was
seeing
compelling
the
and
first-
helpful
probably the
to
first desktop computer
helpful
ever really
and helpful
produced.
to other recovering
So my
addicts.
point of view never really
But the
changed.
but the rehabs
About it, even though my aunt probably
but the rehabs couldn't pay him to speak.
What was the role? How have
Art had to pick
changed?
and choose which speaking engagements he could afford to do.
Back then it was
Take
centralized
time-
power
take
that
time
makes it
and
now
off-
that's 3 times as much
and
power.
off from work
Fringe that
and
was in the center.
drive to the location. His talks were always meaningful and met with appreciation, but he didn't feel he was making a big enough difference. He wasn't able to reach a larger audience with his message, and it was actually costing him money to speak. He still wanted to be an activist for addicts, but he had to find some way to fund his philanthropic efforts.
Question they asked to get that.
Yes,
Well, at the time we started Apple, Woz was working for Hewlett Packard, I was working for Atari, after the revolution, designing video games. And we went to Atari and showed them our early prototypes, and we went to HP. And we encouraged each company to hire
okay,
together
efforts.
and let us do this for them. And we got
Activist for addicts, but
probably for good reasons.
he had to
But,
find
we
some
started a company because it was the only alternative left, not because we wanted to.
When did you ever think that it was going to live? Was it really going
he had to find some way to fund his philanthropic efforts. We worked together to expand his message to include a business angle. His core promise became getting past addictive behaviors, changing habits, and committing to a clear vision of your dreams. It was a speech that remained true to his experience and message, but
And they were really like
What's the goal of the next factory? Why is it so automated? Why is that necessary?
Also, one he could sell
One could
to
go
a
on for a long time about how the US
to a
is forgotten
corporate audience.
manufacturing, which
Art
is
booked.
true.
Okay,
It's
art
starting to
booked
pick up. And,
his first paying gigs and now uses the money he makes speaking on corporate stages
time to
to
market
support
is very
the work he does
Quality is
gratis
very important.
for drug rehabs.
We can make
In other words, to
tremendous,
take your story
quality
of
and
survival
production
into
kind of
the
market
corporate
through automation.
speaking market.
So
Okay,
the automation
expose
is there to lower
guys
the
like
cost,
this
so it does
and
do
get
that.
money.
It's really there to increase the quality and decrease
Okay,
the
this
time
will
it takes
decrease.
us to get our new product as an example to market.
Higher-
It's very important
higher-
technology-based marketplace.
Market. You need to have more
we
than
happen to be the lowest cost producer in the
than a
world
great heart
already
story.
next of our
You have to
products. We also
bridge
happen to be one of
the
highest quality
gap between your
of our type of
personal
products.
experience
And we think for
of
a company to
surviving a
survive,
tiger attack
much less
and
prosper in the
the
United
experience
States,
of
very,
the
very
ad,
important
of an
people.
administrative
We're not competing at the homebrew computer society
aid
anymore.
and administrative
IBM
aid
Inc.
dealing with
And,
nasty clients all day
To
long.
do that, we really have to be world-class manufacturers.
If you have worked hard to overcome illness, poverty and divorce, then sharing your strategies for success in the form of action steps can not only assist others but
What computer networks help?
can become a full-time career. Some of you have more personal topics including self-improvement, relationships and women's shoes.
They funded a thing
Wow.
called ARPANET many, many years ago to try to build a command and control network for military.
for making quality life.
And they did a very brilliant thing. After they got a prototype working, they gave it to the university
Create
community in
quality
America
life.
and said, bang on this for a while and see if it works and help us make it better. And after a few years of the university community doing that, they created a
Jeez.
separate version
Odd.
for military purposes. But they left the educational version going. And that is tied together
For-
with the research community of the United States now for about a decade.
For making
And is vital to the functioning of higher education in this country. So higher education has actually led the way. That's why we started off focusing exclusively on higher education, because where else could you find 5,000 people on a network but
Quality
Carnegie Mellon
life.
University, as an example. So higher education's been 5 years ahead of business in using computers in some of these powerful
Quality
ways.
life.
We're going to see now ripple into
Come on.
business in the first half of the 90s. It's pretty exciting.
How about lower education? How about school? How about lower? Sharing valuable resources.
So far,
probably 80% of your speech will focus on a heart story.
I wish that they've been upgrading the Macintosh as faster than they have been, but I think
Heart
that's
story.
slowly
The
happening.
journey you took to survive
The primary purpose
lymphoma,
of K through 12
lymphoma,
is computer
to
literacy.
climb Kilimanjaro, to move
There's
from
been a
poor to
bottleneck
rich.
because there hasn't been enough
Just be aware that survivors
And that's a
must
problem
still
for our
qualify
society in general,
to
amongst
speak
all the other problems
speak
with our K through 12
by
education.
also
One could talk about that.
having academic professional or business experience. This includes your college degree, your job, your
We've got
accolades,
competency, Bob.
the professional initials that follow your name, the book you wrote, your charity work,
I think it's fine.
academic professional, business academic professional or business experience. Include your
Going back to the Mac, meeting the deadline for the Mac.
okay, your college degree, your job, your accolades, your professional initials, and follow your name by
Actually, we
the
wanted
book
to get the Mac
the
out
book you wrote,
before we did.
the book you wrote, the
So,
charity work,
we had internal deadlines that we were
the
not able
place
to meet.
you have been
By
in,
the time we set,
or the
by
articles
the time we bought the spot,
that ran about you in your local
it's
newspapers.
not that we had worked 24 hours a day for the last 6 months to get it out, but
If you fit into this speaking category, focus intently on chapter 3 to find the message that runs underneath the story of your journey, as well as chapter 4 where
consider
you
themselves-
qualify
I certainly
to
consider them
speak
artists.
by
These are
action
people that have been under different
by accentuating
circumstances,
your credentials.
because of the time
The novices,
this new medium
the
has
novices,
appeared,
the
in
novices,
which to express
the
oneself
novices.
to one's fellow species, and that's a medium of computing. And so a lot of people that would have been artists and scientists have gone into this field to express their
Last but certainly not least,
and
are you novices
the right thing.
who might find yourself
At the shareholders.
forced on stage? You are the speakers who must speak as part of your job, or like Chastity Davis from the last chapter, you got roped into a presentation after a couple of drinks. In rare instances, novices will step on stage in the hopes that you can jump start and stalled career, grab that promotion or lay the groundwork for a raise. Mostly novices are regular people with absolutely no experience who find themselves on stage sweating, terrified and miserable. You buy books to help learn presentation skills, but you realize you have no speech. That's when the fear kicks in hard.
I should probably keep going.
Yeah. Just thinking a couple, but let's do the kickers then. Okay, these are the 15 seconds at the beginning of the show to grab people's attention. So, program 3, we're going from semiconductors to the growth and establishment of the computer industry. So, what did you accomplish? What did you set out to do? What did you do?
Presentation skills, but you realize you have no speech. That's when the fear kicks in hard. That's why I'm telling you that creative
had
skills
a microprocessor for 2 or 3 years. It was the computer
with both
obviously
topics.
got the idea to make this into a computer rather
I totally get it. Even though I work constantly, I have suffered through 17 years of stage fright. It can be pure torture to see a speaking date
How
circled
important is the user interface?
on your calendar, looming over you, filling you with dread. It's like being in 7th grade, knowing you have to give an oral book report and you never read the book.
One way we've been playing with this is
You have no idea how you are going to fake it. You have no idea what to say. As adults, our fears can intensify, but to be on fast track to success and promotion, we all have to present our ideas to an audience. Learning how to be a better, more entertaining speaker and thus getting positive results from speaking will assist you in turning speaking into a positive experience rather than one of humiliation. After all,
people just want to know what it can do.
they wrap that up into the graphical interface or the line that we're going. How about this? Where are we in the evolution of the user interface?
after you speak, you have people coming up to you,
That's true.
saying nice things, hugging you, and telling you
that there is a
what a difference you make.
This whole discussion about user interface is just
Well,
strange to me.
that might make going through the fear worth it. It can also improve your value in your current job.
Well, in
Not
history
quite
series,
the
though,
same as that, though.
in the history series, though, there is an evolutionary line, so that's why we're following. I mean, a lot of people don't know about that anymore.
Right.
Dave Orris
Okay.
worked as a corporate manager of a national
Well,
supermarket chain.
in the 90s,
In addition to maintaining and managing a small office staff, most days would find him out in the field
right?
Find him out in the field.
3 times as much power at the fringe that we have in the center, and 5 times as much power than what's the distance. Well, how did the PC change the world?
Well, though the analogy is nowhere perfect.
In the field, supervising and
certainly,
training store employees
one needs to
and
factor out the
interfacing
environmental concerns.
with the vendor community as part of his
there
job.
is a lot to
Each
be
week
said for
he had
comparing
each week
Ukraine
he had to
past
give a
Ukraine.
report in front of the staff, and each time he was filled with dread after
the advent of the automobile
attaching
gave us a
a
personal freedom of transportation.
after attaching a
Same way, the
seminar
advent of the
led by
gave us the
led by
ability to start to use
led by
computers
popular
for
motivational
people
speaker
who need to use computers.
Ed
And the
Foreman.
biggest effect of the
Dave
personal computer
thought,
revolution has been to
if I could learn to inspire my teams
millions of people
as Ed inspired
experience computers
as Ed
themselves,
as
decades
Ed
before they ever would.
inspired me and
allow them
the
to
other
participate
attendees
in making choices and controlling their own destiny.
what lofty goals could my teams
But it
achieve?
has created problems. And the
He
large
gave
problems
himself
are
a challenge
that,
and joined
now that we
Toastmasters
have a
internationally
powerful
and began honing his presentation
We're still
skills. As
We're still
those skills
connecting
grew,
people
as those skills
powerful
grew,
together. And
so
that's really been the
so
challenge
did
in the
Dave's
last few years,
responsibilities and
how to connect
visibility
back together
within the company
so that
more
we can
important.
rebuild
So
the
did the
fabric
effectiveness
rather than
of
individual points of light.
so did the effectiveness
get the
of
benefit of both
of
passenger train.
Dave's teams as they set new measurable standard of excellence.
Vision behind the next machine. We've already covered this.
Yeah. Everything that
The economic downturn took its toll on even the best managed companies. Layoffs were inevitable. The year
I've done with
2010
my life has been along
2010
vector.
was accompanied
In this case,
by a 90% reduction in Dave's department alone. As Dave was told, there was no doubt that his ability to effectively communicate, lead, and inspire others factored into the decision to retain his position within the company. Pros
And
in
most
training.
important, we saw a way to build a software system that was about 10 times as powerful than any PC, and where some new software could be created in a fourth of the time.
Toastmasters International is a
Spent 4 years
non-profit
with,
organization
50
that
100
has
of the best software people we could find.
270,000 upwardly mobile members, including me, in 13,000 clubs in California alone. There are 989 registered weekly Toastmasters meetings. My fellow members are ambitious go-getters who pursue speaking opportunities to find new clients to supplement their income and
the more powerful
for
tools
overall
people
career advancement.
And in
They are
this case,
actively
we
working to
found a way to do 2 or
improve
3 things that were
their
great. Number one was
presentation
to put a much more
skills.
powerful computer in front of
One of our
for about the same price as
mottos,
PC.
one of
Second
our
was
mottos
integrate that
is
networking into
becoming the
computers so we
speaker
can begin to make
and
this next
leader
revolution with interpersonal
you
communication.
want to be.
And the PCs so far have not been able to do that very well. And the third thing, and maybe the most important, was
Excuse me.
to create a whole new software architecture from the ground up.
It's natural.
That lets us build these new types of applications and lets us build them in 25% of the time that it normally takes to do on a PC. So we spent 4 years with 50 to 100 of the best software people that I know. There wasn't a strict division between sort of science and art.
1717.
Or in other words, that mathematics is really a liberal art if you look at it from a slightly different
It's natural to
And
be
why can't we
frightened
interject
of
typography into
speaking
computers?
in
Why
front
can't
of
we have
others, but if
computers,
you have a great message along
talking to us
with a
in
well
English
thought
language? And,
along with a well thought out and
and looking back 5
rehearsed
minutes,
speech
like a trivial
that can go a
observation
long
of
way
time,
to
cataclysmic
fighting fear.
consequences, and the
Fighting
battles that
fear.
were fought to
Pay,
push this point of view out the door.
pay special attention to the last chapter of part 1 for a primer on how to deal with fear. With fear.
Balance.
I've gotten a taste out of this, man. I've gotten a taste out of
was
this.
you had risk takers.
I could talk, but
Learns to hang glide at age 40. These people like Langdon.
with fear.
How
And
important was that?
we'll focus on part 2,
Going back to 75.
where I will guide you to write an entertaining speech with
My entire life
content
has been
and
in
laughs.
one industry, which is this one. And, but
There
I've
I
been
will
in it
show
now
you
for 15
how to
years,
use
and I've
a
seen
core
lot of
promise,
people make
a heart
lot of
story,
things
and
like
action
this
steps
fail.
to build
And
your
my
speech. But like I mentioned before, it shouldn't be a daunting process. While other types of speakers may use this book to punch up their content-heavy PowerPoint or try to rebrand themselves in a completely new market, you are in the inviolable position of having a blank slate. You can pursue any segment of the market you choose, and you have the advantage of looking at your life with brand new eyes. What you see will then become what you say. A super cool way to discover a whole new perspective on your life and your career. After all, having people hug you after a speech or asking for your autograph, hiring you for their confidence, or just keeping your job can be a real self-esteem booster. Nothing like a love fest to turn those novice fears into I wanna do it again excitement.
What's it going to take to make computers accessible to the rest of the public? I don't know what the statistics are, but 20 million people on computers.
Well known.
What's it going to
speaker.
take to get it to 100 million?
Well, probably death is the best invention of life. Yeah, because
Exercise
there's a constant
your
turnover.
speaker profile.
And so if you want to
You
make
may
a change in our society,
think that
the best place to do it is in the educational system. So that there are now generations of people that have come out of school who computers are second nature to them. And the people in our
you may
society
think that answering
at this point still have not embraced these things, are getting older, and as that cycle, that wheel of birth and death turns, just like driving.
you may think that answering the questions
Another generation
below
don't use computers.
before you have even
Going back,
It's a harsh way of saying it, but
it's very true. I mean, there is a line that says those people that don't adopt it will die off.
well, time passes.
time passes. Great. This
Focusing on the
take
third
this one.
program, where we've gone
Say
from
tick. Time
the
passes.
vision is IBM is this big machine, UNIVAC, big large machine, and we take the line through a integrated circuit microprocessor. And we actually got some great stuff from
Time
Ted
passes.
Hoffman
Tick.
about, it's a
It's
light
true.
bulb. It
true.
burns out, you replace it.
Great.
Then we lead up into the beginnings of the personal computer.
Ooh.
So what were you doing at the time, and how did that get started?
Don't adapt.
Actually, it wasn't Intel that first figured out that the microprocessor was a computer. They designed these things
Okay.
to
Exercise.
use a calculator.
Your speaker
And they
profile.
thought the reason
You may
that the
think that
microprocessor
answering
came about was
the
they thought
questions
they designed
below
a slightly
before you
different
have even
The next
written
customer
one
would
word
want
of
to
your
go to a slightly
speech is
different
putting
calculator.
the
They could just
putting the
spend a few
cart
months
before
rather
the
than
horse.
years designing a new piece of
But
silicon.
I
But
beg to
I think the
differ.
thought of making a computer never really occurred to them.
Identifying
And it was
the kind of speaker
that thought about making
you
that
currently
thought about making a
are
computer.
or aspire to be will help you to hone
And I don't think Intel
in
quite understood
on the
that for
message of
years.
you and where you
But
fit into
again, the first
the
thing that
speaking
happened
business.
was these people came together and formed a club, the Homebrew Computer Club at Stanford. Was the first one in the country, and
Okay.
it was a beehive of all of these people who
So
were
SMS
interested in these
books then limitless
small little computers computers.
super reading secrets,
People that might have
then
been ham radio operators,
okay, sales
people that might have
marketing,
worked with large computers.
okay,
We're
digital
all gathered
marketing,
together to
gurus,
share, discuss
okay,
their
yeah,
latest
entrepreneur,
little
and then
projects. It was very exciting.
yes,
And
money,
there was not a month
yes,
that would go by where some breakthrough
yeah,
didn't happen. And then the first
capable
magazine
money
came along,
as much as
which was Byte
we
Magazine,
need.
to communicate
Okay, good,
on a
good,
national
good
scale
money.
with all these hobbyists. So that it was a very, very exciting, dynamic time.
Okay,
What did you think when you saw
and
the
yes,
Apple
meeting
one?
with gurus,
What did I think when I
buying
saw
many
it?
When you
labs,
first
then
saw that Woz was
buying
building
car,
that
buying
board.
big homes, and
Well, it didn't quite work that way, actually.
quite
What happened was that
good home, good home,
Woz and I
good money, good home, good,
had known each other since I was about
okay, then
12 or 13 years
good,
old.
yeah, obviously good
And we
health
built,
also,
our first project
okay,
together was we
good
built these little blue
doggy,
boxes
then
to
good,
make free telephone calls.
good wife,
And
great,
we
done.
had the best blue box in
It's
the
good,
world.
like a
It's
good
all
cloth, good,
digital
good
blue box.
food,
I don't think it works anymore.
it's like good mindset,
But
good health, good wealth,
we had a fun
good
time doing that. So when it
love
came to
relationship, good,
building a
good
computer
wife,
together,
good girl, and for mindset,
Woz
good
focused
books,
mostly Woz
for
was a
mindset,
brilliant hardware engineer
and
and focused
then
on the core
good
design of the
hobby,
computer.
healthy
And
hobby,
I was
good
worrying
hobby,
about which parts we ought to use,
what you
and how
love
we
to
were
do.
going to build these things, and how somebody that wasn't a Woz was going to manage to buy all the extra parts.
After
you still
reading
need to buy and
the
put them
above
together. You still need to
descriptions,
buy your own
you
keyboard,
probably
your own
have an
display,
idea
your own
of
power
my
supply.
vision boards.
And so you need to be pretty much of a hardware hobbyist.
Have an idea of which category you mostly fit into, and
Even though you needed to
some
buy
of
these
you
extra
might
parts,
fit
the
into
main
more
computer board
than
itself
one.
came fully assembled. We were the first company in the world to do
You
that.
might be a
Everybody
pro
else was offering
who is also an entertainer,
and
or
what
a
that meant was there was
or a
maybe an order of
survivor
magnitude more people
who is also an
actually buy our
entrepreneur.
computers than if they had to build it themselves. And the Apple II was actually the first computer to come
Entrepreneur.
fully assembled, where you didn't have
Or
to
a
do anything. And
or a tap dancing techie who who owns a t-shirt business and survived being hit by a train stranger. Things have happened.
1,000 potential software hobbyists.
You also might have
And
a
they didn't have to do
hint
anything with the
now,
hardware except use it.
hint now
And at
of
that
your
time, that meant
speaking
write their own
goals,
programs. Still, there was a much
of your
larger
speaking
group of
goals,
people to take advantage.
speaking goals.
So we wanted
in
to reach
this-
them, and that was the real
in
breakthrough in the Apple
Contrast, if you will, the Atlantic City.
Yeah, so that it should
West
go
Coast.
in limit.
II. Well, the Atlantic City computer show was the first. That was the-
And yeah,
Look at the way.
Excuse me.
excuse me. Bless you, bless
The
you.
first
Bless you.
face-to-face gathering of personal computer hobbyists from
Exercise.
all over the country
Right,
was a show put on in Atlantic City in
exercise.
1976.
Right for 20 minutes
And it was in
without
the
stopping
basement of some
and
dingy
answer the
hotel.
questions
and it just
below.
happened to be about 300 degrees outside. So the basement was like a steam bath. And it was
Okay.
impossible to be down there for longer than a half an hour without being completely drenched. And nevertheless, there were a few hundred hobbyists completely drenched walking around for hours. And we had a little tiny booth there. It was a tablecloth over a hotel table. And there were Woz and I and a friend or two of ours went there. And we had our few Apple ones there and a little poster we'd made. And that was really our the first computer show in the world. A year later, I think maybe even 9 months later, there was the first West Coast computer,
One,
which was a much more
am I speaking
professional
because it's
operation
part of my job?
in comparison with Atlantic City, but
If so,
still very, very hobby-oriented.
If so, how can being an inspiring speaker assist me with my job?
Companies showing their wares.
With
And it was
my job.
attended by maybe 1,000 people, which was a lot for our industry.
With my job.
13,000. Wow, really? 13,000 people. That's a lot.
That's Jim Warren.
That's a lot. I'd be
Okay, have you
surprised
seen?
at that, but maybe
It's like that.
Yeah,
6,000.
6,000. Thousands of people. And
In-laws and
that's when we introduced the Apple II.
own
And I think the Apple II was probably a hit. of the
family
show.
members interrupts to
In between,
have physically
you
been.
went and found
See the thing, when my mom dad was doing this,
Uh,
this is so much, this is too much. Oh my god,
well,
Then,
found Regis by.
then why is the relationship is there
I used to
then?
like Intel's advertising, so I called
Do you
him
want
one day, and I said, "Who does
something
your
extra?
advertising?" He said, "Well, Regis McKenna."
M affairs?
What's a Regis
Come on.
McKenna?
So this is the thing though.
He gave me his phone number, and I called
It
him.
just make and a good give a good impact. It's a knowledge of thing. Yes.
And then
Give
Mike
a
Marcola, I
give
found,
these to knowledge of
from,
to everybody.
a venture capitalist actually told me that I should go talk to Mike Marcola. Now we hooked up with Mike just around the time
These
we
three
introduced the
things.
Apple II, maybe a month before. But the Apple II was pretty much designed and ready to go.
I am
Mike came on board,
I'm okay. One.
and, then we started.
Am I speaking because it's part of my job?
How important was the disk drive?
If so, how can being an inspiring speaker assist me with my job? How can speaking help me receive a promotion or keep my job if there are cutbacks? 2. Am I speaking because I have a message I want to share with the world? What would be the results of being able to truly motivate and inspire others?
The Apple II
And inspire others?
48 kilobytes of memory, which
Oh my God! Wow!
like much. But
Don't
at that
watch
time
there.
was maybe
It's
3
your
times
fault.
as much
I'll be
as
watching my love.
And that's why
Don't
this
watch
account
that.
was written for the Apple II. That it was the only computer that could hold it. And so, if this account had been written for some
Three.
other computer, you'd be interviewing somebody
Am I
else
trying
right
to
now.
broaden my
It was
client
because of
base?
that design decision
How would
and other
speaking
design decisions like it that the Apple II really beat its competition.
How would speaking help to increase the number of clients?
How did the
4.
Apple II
Am I already considered an expert? Are there companies or media outlets that hire experts in my field?
Define
In my
the
field.
computers we know it today.
Okay.
So, I think it's
Yeah.
a lot.
If that will happen, then
One of the theses is that
it will be. It will be.
How important is market research?
I'm telling you,
How much did you
it will
rely
be. It will be inverting.
well,
Okay, men instead of women.
you know, I think it's
All right, experts in my field to speaking. Now see, just
and so you can find out what they
one.
and you show them the
Am I
product.
speaking because it's part of my job?
Products are much simpler than
If so, how can being an inspiring speaker assist me with my job? How can speaking help me receive a promotion or keep my job if there are cutbacks?
Tell you what your
Two.
customers think of something you show them, or it can tell you what your customers want as an incremental improvement on what you have. But very rarely do
2.
your customers
Am I
predict
speaking
something
because
you don't even
I have a
know
message
yet.
I want to share with the world?
Research could have led to the development of Macintosh.
What would be the results of being able to
So there are these sort of
truly motivate and
non-incremental
inspire others?
jumps that need to take place.
3.
where it's very
Am I trying to broaden my client base? How would speaking help to increase the number
However,
of clients?
once you have made
4.
that jump,
Am I already considered an expert?
or even after, it's
Are
a
there
great time
companies
to
or media
check
outlets
your
that hire experts in my
with the
field to
marketplace
speak?
and verify that you're on the right
Which
track.
companies
And
or
usually you show people
which companies or shows?
"Oh my God, this is
5.
fantastic," or
What do I expect to get out of speaking? In other words, am I doing it for money,
How has
career advancement, or inspiration?
society? I'm not sure I can
Money,
guess
money,
this
money,
again.
money, money. Okay.
I mean, how have we
6.
fundamentally changed the way we do?
Is there an organization or a cause I want to represent or promote? What is it? What is it? How would speaking about my personal experiences help promote that organization? 7. What are my entertaining skills, such as singing, juggling, comedy, magic,
To the
etc. etc.
growth and establishment.
Is there a message
What did you accomplish?
that I could add to my current act? What are the hidden talents I can add to my speech? 8. How can I activate the social media platform I already have in place via my Facebook page and my Twitter account or my blog?
We got to build a
Could I create a speech that would appeal?
we started Apple. We were
Could I
Apple
create a
building for our
speech
friends.
that would appeal to my
That was all. No, I-
followers? That would escalate.
How
That would escalate me to celebrity status. Celebrity status.
Turn that to your own light.
9.
Well, the whole idea of the Macintosh.
Am I trying to create a new revenue
use a computer rather
stream?
than learn how to use a computer.
How would speaking increase my current income?
It's not how it does it, but what it does.
Case study: the passing zone. The passing zone. The passing zone is one of the most successful and sought after keynote speaking terms. It's a teams working today. They are jugglers. That's right. Owen Morse and John V are a juggling duo with four Guinness World Records, 18 gold medals from the International Jugglers Association, and appearances on many international TV shows.
People all want to know how it does what it does, but the young
Oh.
people just want to know what it can do.
Okay, wrap that up into is you the graphical interface or the trend the line that we're going. How about this? Where are we in the evolution?
John and
of the user
Owen
interface?
illustrate
Where are we going?
to corporate America the fundamentals of teamwork by juggling chainsaws.
There is a short one.
Their act is an example of the collaboration at the
This whole discussion about user
of the
interface is
collaboration between two people who rely on each other's strengths, who communicate, trust, and have fun cooperating. Looking over your answers determine which category or categories you currently fall into.
Networking. Why is networking important? Why is
Pro, techie, entertainer, survivor, novice.
In the
Speaking
90s, we're going to revolutionize human communication using these desktop computers in the same way that spreadsheets revolutionized financial modeling and the desktop publishing revolutionized publishing.
yes.
Okay, good.
anything we haven't covered?
Now ask yourself, what is your biggest challenge as a pro, techie, entertainer, survivor, or novice? Whether it's writing a second speech, adding a heart-shot story, or getting over first-time speaking jitters, it will assist you in your process by setting yourself some goals. Matter of fact, I am here to help you. Email me your goals at commitment@themessageofyou.com and I will help keep you on track so you can make your goals a reality. Becoming clear about your speaking goals will help to clarify the message of you and save you valuable time as you begin to research speaking opportunities because and here is the great news. There are endless opportunities to launch your career as a speaker. Corporate America is desperate for great speakers with a strong message sprinkled with laughs. Just look at the numbers.
I'm going to the second all-day
Okay.
presentation.
So just look at the numbers.
We are honored to have with us today Steve Jobs, the president.
11 million meetings occur in the US each and every day. Source meetings in America. And 37% of employee
of building computers in garage. Such an institute starts orders for the creation of Apple. Formidable challenge to IBM
of employee time is spent in meetings. Source National Statistics Council. Then 102.3 billion dollars was spent on business meetings and events worldwide. Source meetings in America.
both eventually left Apple to establish their own entrepreneurial roots. In 1985, he founded his computer company, Next Corporation, to design a revolutionary computer called the Cube. Largely hiding the workstation market, Next has found the going tough against impressive competitors such as Sun Microsystems. However,
there are 57,000 meeting and convention planners currently employed. Source US Department of Labor. The convention business is expected to grow 16% between 2008 and 2018, faster than the average for all other occupations. Source US Department of Labor. In other words, there are far more speaking opportunities than there are trained speakers. Meeting planners are desperate for well-prepared, inspiring speakers and are willing to pay them good money. The opportunities are not limited to the United States. Meeting Professionals International has over 20,000 active members and the
giving up his time to be with us this afternoon. Would you please give a warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker?
20,000 active members and the professional speaking industry is an English language based career. In fact, Global Speakers Federation requires
spend an hour together today. And most of the time I wanted to spend just talking about what you want to talk and answering some questions. But
Zen Perion
10 minutes or 15 minutes up front and tell you what we're doing at Next and why the world might need another computer.
Global Speakers Federation requires that English is either the first or second language of their members. Federation members include Australia, Canada, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom and the USA, United States of America. How cool is it to be paid to vacation? What do speakers speak about? There are many hundreds of different topics that speakers cover, including personal development, business issues, diversity programs, leadership, sales, customer service, teamwork, organization and motivation. The list is endless. That's why the focus of this book is helping you to determine what constitutes a bookable topic.
Really successful companies who either spend more or less than they're not successful.
Okay, simply put.
But it was exactly the same. They all spent about 2% of revenue
Project Life Mastery.
Technology. And he found this curious, and so he asked another question: how do they spend their money? And he found out that the really successful ones, or actually let's start with the not so successful ones, as success increases and dollars increase, he found out that the not so successful ones spent the majority of their money on management productivity. And the more successful ones spent the majority of their money on operational productivity applications, right? Now, this was not very pleasant for me to read because I spent the first 10 years of my life on management productivity, which was PCs, right?
Simply put, these are the topics that audiences will pay to hear. Just because you are an expert on a certain topic doesn't mean you can get paid to talk about it. Now, for many speakers who have to speak at their job or who speak for charity, choosing a bookable topic is not an issue.
These things never attack
You-
operational productivity. So
You may even have an assigned topic and have no choice about it. But for those of you who would like to make a living and a speaker or are starting with a blank slate, you must take into account the topic considered hot by companies and organizations. Choosing a bookable topic is an important component when putting together a commercially viable core promise for your speech and developing your message of you brand. In chapter 4, I lead you through a few exercises to determine which bookable topic is right for you.
To start downsizing and getting some servers and running some industry standard databases like Sybase or Oracle in the servers and making a little local area network and getting maybe some Sun workstations and spending about 2 years writing some mission critical operational applications like trading apps for Wall Street, perfect example. And it kind of worked. And
It will be a smart decision, bro. Okay.
Because more and
That
more they were discovering
self-improvement and relationship plus great fun.
a custom operational
Okay,
application.
related in all over the platform.
If you're in financial services,
Okay, raise
and
like
you
this
come up with a
and
new product,
keep
only
this
three things.
as well too.
It's an idea,
And yeah, do this as a
Salesforce,
philanthropic
and it's a
women
custom
issues.
app
Okay,
bang
it's
on
a
databases
simply smart
to
decision.
make the product
I'm telling you, it's a simply a smart decision, and you can do it. You can do it. You have that caliber. You can do it, bro.
And
Okay,
so
I've said
there's
that.
been
Yes.
an increasing buildup of demand.
Okay, you can do it, bro.
The
You
front
have that
part
caliber,
of
you have that
corporations
charisma, you have that
to
capability
create more
and capabilities, and you can become
operational
the
applications. And
great
I think
instrument
it's gonna
of
get to the point
your
where
of universe
this
of
becomes
gods
fairly
of all
clear that
universe,
this is the
so
next
universal
big
supreme energy of all
revolution
gods, of
desktop
all gurus, of all
to create these attacking operational productivity
GG helpers
start to re-engineer
living on
new
you
things to automate a
for
lot
forever
of
in
custom
whole.
applications. Sounds a little strange now to most people. Sounds like desktop publishing did in 1985. Nobody knew what it was. Everybody thought it was
Okay, come on, man. It's a
word
smart
thing
decision.
was there. But my guess is it's
Okay,
pretty
it's a smart
horizontal.
decision
And
in all over the
we're
platform because
attacking
Mr.
markets
Musk,
now
my brother, is saying that
nobody
use
wants
that, and he's tweeting to
and
Mr.
it's going
Beast.
extremely
So it's
well.
great.
Some
It's a
of the
wonderful
only
opportunity for me if he's not
having
creating.
success
So
at this.
if I could create, I could make content like that. Okay,
Because we came up with this
in
software called
with
Next
test
Step,
obviously,
which lets you
and
build
I'll
apps
be
5
posting
to
it there
10
in
times faster
YouTube
than
and
anyone has ever
Instagram.
seen. And
Okay,
after you
first
build
I've
them,
chosen
they're
these,
deployable and you
and
can
then I will be growing
and you can interoperate your custom apps
casually.
seamlessly with a bunch
Then
of
I'll be
productivity
then
So
start
go to these companies that
giving my
use
ideas
Sun
stuff
and take
on
2 years to
start
write their
start
apps.
spreading on
And they
Facebook
can
and
write your apps in
LinkedIn
about
and
90 days with Next.
anymore
Now,
on
if you're
WhatsApp
on
stuff
Wall
or
Street and
all
you
of
can
the
write, you can
like
create a
Snapchat
new product in
and
90
TikTok.
days versus your competitor in 2 years. That's
That's
8
it for
new
now.
products you can feel there every week.
As a, yes,
And you can start to see the competitive advantage that can be created this way.
and that is there.
Now, we have
Okay,
no
that is
idea
there.
that we were any good at this.
If
when
you
we
will
started Next.
if you will search Global
A
5,
lot of times
the handle
you
is
don't know what your
Global 5 Ritesh
competitive
India,
advantage
and if you will search Women Empowerment 5,
is, launch a new product.
the handle is at the rate
Historical example.
Women
We created
Women Empowerment 5 Ritesh India or Women
How many of you
EMP.
have seen a Next?
Okay,
Oh, that's
Ritesh
how many
India.
people use a Next.
and
That's not so bad.
and all over the places like
Look,
Twitter, Instagram, there are Ritesh India.
we're on the right track.
So it's okay. It
We,
will people will
when we started,
understand.
when we did the
100%.
Macintosh, we never anticipated desktop publishing when we created the Mac. Sounds funny.
Content
but
will
that turned out to be the Mac's compelling advantage.
give impact,
The thing that
leave
it did,
impact.
not 1.5 or 2 times better than everything else, but
Okay.
4 or 5 times better than anything else, where you had to have one.
Now,
We never
now for many speakers who have to speak at their job or who speak for charity, choosing a bookable topic is not an issue. It's great. You may even have an assigned topic and have no choice about it. and for those who you want, who would you like to make a living as a speaker, or are starting with a blank slate. You must take into account the topics considered hot by companies and organizations. Choosing a bookable topic is an important component when putting together a commercially viable core promise for your speech and developing your message of your brand. In chapter 4, I'll lead you through a few exercises to determine which bookable topic is right for you. Great.
And this is the biggest problem we've had. This is a huge problem for every big company and almost all medium-sized companies, and you have a solution in your hands and you dummies don't even know it. And it took them about 3 months before we finally...
Okay, where do speakers speak? Speakers speak at conventions, written already exposed, business meetings, women's groups, charity events, fundraisers, hospital events, schools, churches. Okay, TED Talks, basically anywhere people gather. I myself have spoken on large rock and roll style stages, as well as in hotel banquet halls. Speakers speak at banquet halls. Oh wow. As well, okay. Basically anywhere people gather. I myself spoken on large rock and roll style stages, as well as in hotel banquet halls, cruise ships, classrooms, auditoriums, parks, not to mention outside on the 7th hole of the golf course. Not to mention outside on the 7th hole of golf course. Note to self. Do not wear spike heels when walking on the lawn. Yeah.
So we've got that amount of time to grow ourselves.
The TED Talk. TED started in 1984 as a conference bringing people together from
salespeople as they do, as Sun does. We don't have the ad budgets that they do. So we've got to have a better product.
People together from 3 different worlds: technology, entertainment, and design.
I'd also like to be able to run for their money on scale. So we've got the next 3 to 4 years.
The stated mission of the non-profit is to build a clearinghouse that offers free knowledge and inspiration from the world's most inspired thinkers. Since 2006, the talks have been offered for free viewing online, with over 1,000 talks viewed nearly 500 million times and billion times, along a growing global audience. Speakers are given 18 minutes to present their ideas. Who knew 18 minutes could change the world?
Hardly anything coming out of this bigot.
There is a science behind it. Yes.
How many of you from Wall Street? Good. Good. How many of you are from manufacturing companies? Oh, excellent. Where are the rest of you?
Okay. Why are speakers hired?
So how many are from consultants? Oh, that's bad. Mind is too important.
Why are speakers hired? Speakers are hired as keynoters to motivate, inspire, or entertain.
The only consultants I've seen that I think are truly useful are the ones that help us sell our computers. But other than that, no, seriously, I don't think there's anything inherently evil in consulting. I think that without owning something over an extended period of time, like a few years, where one has a chance to take responsibility for one's recommendations, where one has to see one's recommendations through all action stages and accumulate scar tissue for the mistakes and pick oneself up off the ground and dust oneself off, one learns a fraction of what one can. What you're coming in and making recommendations and not owning the results, not owning the implementation, I think is a fraction of the value and a fraction of the opportunity to learn and get better. And so what you do get a broad cut,
whatever it takes to,
but it's very thin. It's like a picture
cross.
of
I have selected.
It's like a picture of a banana. You might get a very
Because
accurate
remember,
picture,
first,
but it's
fast,
only two-dimensional.
fast. Why are
Without
speakers
the
hired?
experience of actually
Why?
doing it, you never get three-dimensional. So you might have a lot of pictures on your wall. You show it off
Yes.
to your friends. You say, look, I've worked in bananas, I've worked in peaches, I've worked in grapes, but you never really taste it.
Yes, taste.
And I think that
Tasty.
that's what
Speakers are hired as keynoters to motivate, inspire, or entertain.
you're also a
Or maybe
virtuous
three.
event in hard times.
They are hired as trainers for breakout sessions or to educate. They are hired as private consultants to improve our business. Improve our business. Oh, okay. Improve our business. Sometimes they are hired as MCs
Just become a software company.
or host to host and lighten up the event. I have sometimes been hired to do all four for a conference. Wow!
We got a lot of requests from customers.
I'll do an early morning wake them up keynote, then an afternoon breakout session as a trainer.
So we decided
Speakers on sale. If I have to pay for a keynoter to fly in, I might as well get more value by having them also do a breakout session. This gives attendees an opportunity to dig deeper into the keynote topic with a hands-on interactive breakout session.
And everybody's coming out of the woodwork to help us. We're getting help from Novell, we're getting help from all the developers, Intel's really helping us.
Sandy Buyback, CMP, CMM, founder of Imagination Meeting Planners, INC.
They all want to make
Dot.
sure that there's a
Okay.
choice out there.
Then
They're
an
all really scared about
afternoon, God bless you.
and they see next step as the only
Afternoon.
thing that can challenge Microsoft.
Then an afternoon breakout session as a
So we're
trainer,
enjoying,
followed by emceeing their awards banquet, and continue the next day with private coaching for management on presentation skills. Very often in large meetings, attendees will be divided into smaller groupings called breakout sessions. These sessions are usually 45 to 90 minutes long and have specific skill building topics. They are also more informal with audience interaction and
we're evaluating right now
a speaker who usually provides a workbook. Breakout speakers don't get paid nearly as much as a keynoter, whose sessions can be anywhere from a few hours to all day training to year-long training contracts. The most popular topics are sales, leadership, communication, and presentation skills. Most speakers land these lucrative year-long consulting contracts because they used a keynote to promote their training business. This book is focused on developing a keynote speech for you. Keynoting is a holy grail of speaking
might
of
not be
speaking,
Jesus,
or
might not be this,
as
exactly, we didn't
as
know
my
the
Jewish
best stuff.
grandmother
And
grandmother
I would love it,
would
nothing
say,
better.
a keynoter
Sunday we
is
only
a
sold
big
20 or
matcher.
25% of the
It
net.
is the highest
But I still
paid
think that's
position,
billion
as
plus hardware.
with breakout sessions.
And
A
I'll give
keynoter
them
will
other
a
hardware.
keynoter will usually speak between 45 and 90 minutes and address the entire group. Wow. Keynoters are usually hired for the morning, after lunch, or choosing keynote. A keynote is
How we sell
center
our computers right
a
now.
keynote is the centerpiece of your speaking career, and having a strong one will open doors to additional opportunities in training and consulting. Who hires a speaker?
And then 10% of their time selling the hardware.
Very often companies will use speakers from within their company. Most of these internal speakers are not personal and rarely get paid, although they get other things such as appreciation, acknowledgement, and career advancement. For larger meetings, companies and organizations will hire an outside speaker, meaning someone not associated with their company, to deliver a professional speech designed to motivate and entertain their group. Then they find these outside speakers via a speakers bureau. Wow, great.
The greater the product is, the more revolutionary it is, and not just an incremental improvement.
Let me tell you something
The more you're
quickly. Let me tell you something, brother and sister. Except one my
Matter of
love.
fact, it's getting so bad
Okay.
that it's
So,
getting wiped out.
on
Because
SMS
there
books,
are more efficient channels to fulfill demand,
SMS
like
books,
the telephone,
then
Federal Express.
learn
So
limitless,
we're seeing that the
super reading
channels
learnings,
become condensed
and then
on, I think, just
marketing, digital marketing, and
so how does one
and-
bring
and-
innovation
okay.
to the marketplace?
learnings,
The only
basically,
way
then
we know how to do it
entrepreneurship,
right now
then
with the direct sales force,
good
out there,
good
in front of
good
customers,
wealth,
showing them
good
the
knowledge
products,
done, good
the
mindset done,
environment of their own problems.
good
That's
health.
how it's
Yes,
made it.
also, yeah, good health,
A software
good wealth,
company
got that going
could
on,
never afford
and
to build a direct sales force.
yeah,
With average
good
selling
hobby,
price
then good
of
hobby.
$500 of software
Okay,
package,
good
you
good
could never
wealth,
afford
then good
130
hobby.
professionals in the field.
Yes, great,
With
and
an
then
average
good
selling price of $5,000,
life partner. Great,
Yeah.
done. 5
and that's
things,
why I don't
and
think we're
there are
gonna
little
see
stuffs like
any more system
non-living
software
things like
succeed.
good clothes, good food,
I
obviously
don't think
healthy
it's
food,
possible to fund
and
the
good
effort
home, good
to educate the market
transport,
about a revolutionary product
transportation,
with ASPs
so
that
then
low. And if it's not a
resource
revolutionary product,
like car,
I don't think the company
and
needs
good learning home as well. So
So
great, thank you very
our
much.
strategy is
It's good, going good.
got to be a hardware company
God bless to
in
all of
order
you. Have a
to make our software business succeed. And
good
we think
mindset,
really well at both of them. I know it's a long answer.
good health, good wealth,
It's a complex problem.
good hobby, and good love life forever to all of you. God will make everything all right. How speaker bureau find a speaker? To find the right speaker for a client, we ask the meeting planner, what message do you want the audience to leave with?
Sure.
This determines not only the type of speaker but the speaker's positioning on their program. Not everyone can be a closing keynoter. A closing keynoter needs a rousing call to action to leave the audience with a powerful message.
Way beyond that, and unfortunately, Sun has
Global.
so their software is falling further and further behind. And while we take them very
Kelly
seriously,
MacDonald Hill,
I don't think Solaris
Senior VP Agent, Speakers Spotlight, Speakers Spotlight, Speakers Spotlight, Speakers Spotlight, Speakers
Microsoft
Spotlight.
is doing NT, which is their sort of second.
As
step. They're doing
Speakers
one-
Bureau
and
is an agent who books speakers for clients, unlike Hollywood
it's better plumbing for Windows.
talent agents who have exclusive representation
Still stuck with
of their talent. Speakers Bureau
the worst
usually
environment
do not have
and so
executive
don't think that
of
this is
their
really
clients and
challenge.
are able to book
Which is
elevator
create
pitches
custom apps.
from the
Because
pros.
the
Too
development
many
environment
leaders
is not
overcomplicate
even with the
their
better
jobs.
plumbing,
In reality, a leader's success hinges on A few simple behaviors that require remarkable levels of discipline, based on the model in my first best-selling book, The 5 Temptations of a CEO. I have captured the natural human tendencies that plug all leaders and often prevent them from fulfilling their potential. Patrick Lencioni, business visionary and thought leader.
Now they've helped us enormously because they've blessed object-oriented programming. And right now we're the only folks that have it and will be for the next 3-4 years. So if we can't compete with Taligent, it's probably because we shot ourselves in the foot. You couldn't ask for something better. IBM and Apple saying, these guys are right on track, and come back in 5 years and we'll have it too. It's great.
And take commissions from all speakers. Some speakers find themselves working with as many as 30 different bureaus. For bureaus, the company or association is the most important client, not the speaker. The bureaus work with meeting planners to assist them to find the perfect speaker. They take 25% to 50% of a speaker's salary for any job they book. That's why most speakers prefer to deal directly with the client, since this is the person who is writing the check. The client can be a professional meeting planner, a committee, or the administrator who got stuck with the job of organizing an entire conference with more and more speakers, YouTube videos, and on the internet. Many clients work directly with the speakers themselves rather than hiring via a bureau. It's also why you will need to develop a strong web presence for your career.
Any other operating development environment as you know it. However, to do a particular app on average, you write about 20% of the code
of your career.
In any other development environment you know it.
Working 24/7 and still can't get it all done. All done. Most of us feel that the only way to manage the mounting chaos in our lives is to take control. If only we could get a handle on life. No wonder if